Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and friends. And we have a lot of friends here today. Unfortunately, we're not going to have everyone. Saga. He's got some family stuff to work that he's working on right now. Everything is cool, but take care of family first. And Kay Asante will be here momentarily. But we have a couple of returning members and some very, very sad but understandable news. We will get to that in a second. Hargeet Chani, you got a chance to hang out with me today at noon on an impromptu show regarding some of the shenanigans coming out of, IGN once again. And we had almost 1,100 people in the freaking chat. Holy cow. How you doing? Welcome back.
Yeah, doing good. Outside of this weird, shenanigans from the media, we'll see. We'll talk about it. Some interesting news about PS Plus, and then a nice little letter that Todd Howard sent.
That's right, and folks, he's going to lead the topic. Todd Howard wrote an amazing editorial or a letter to not only to his employees, but I think it was really for the fans to read as well. And that came the way of a story that was run first by Windows Central and Jez Corden. And obviously, Hargeet is going to run that. He thought it was important enough to have a conversation. And, we are celebrating Starfield launch week, which tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if any podcast, I think it's podcast land is going to be a ghost town, especially if you're in the East Coast, because I'm playing it. I don't know about you folks, but I'm going to spend a couple of hours in the character creation aspect of it. They have added a lot of things. I mean, you can even change the way you walk. I want my character to look like me. So I know they have the hairstyle for sure. I saw it. So now I just got to get the face and the chin and everything all right. But I'm so excited. My collector's edition arrived early. I did a very quick 1-minute unboxing. It got like almost 2,000 views, which is very shocking. I couldn't believe it. Nice. So if you missed it, go check that out. The watch is
Boom, it got to me. They had more quantities available at GameStop, and I'm like, all right, I'm buying it. I got the Constellation edition.
Let me tell you something. Now, I haven't really messed around with it because today was super busy, but the watch comes with the base that you put it on the charge. Yeah. Super freaking cool. Also, if you didn't hear about this, again, there's so much news. Oh my God, there's so much news. They have a new theme. One of the dynamic themes for Starfield that went into
really? Is it already available?
Yes, it's on my console right now, dude. Well, listen, let's welcome back the Wandering Dutch, and we got to thank him for his absolutely incredible Gamescom coverage. I mean, the pictures. A lot of the times when I was watching the things he was doing, I felt like I was there. Dutch, welcome back, brother. How the heck are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's good to be back. It's been like last week was just insanely busy. Like I thought being at work was busy, but this was like up 6 o'clock every morning and not back in the hotel until like 11 o'clock on midnight every day. It was insane, but it was super fun, and obviously meeting all the amazing community, meeting all the guys from Xbox and Ninja Theory, and yeah, it's couldn't have went better. I had some awesome conversations, obviously off air, and a lot to talk about. A lot of awesome things, a lot of awesome tidbits that kind of was shared from the community feedback, and everything like that. That will hopefully result in some positive changes on hardware front. So yeah, it was an awesome week, but I just can't wait to do it again. We've automatically just missed the place. It was just wild.
Yeah, dude, it looked like it's so much fun. I definitely, that's like, again, one of the bucket check marks. I've been to E3, I've been to PAX, been multiple PAX. Now I got to get to Gamescom.
Oh, absolutely.
Next year might be the next year.
You're gonna come out to LA next June?
I am coming out to LA this year, without a doubt. There's no missing it. I will be out there. We will hang out. We will have a couple of drinks, even though I drink, like ginger ale, but it's fine. It is what it is.
I just have soda myself, but
oh,
you coming,
excellent. So
Dutch?
yeah, ginger ale with
Yeah,
lime
there's a possibility. The flights are my most expensive thing. If I've got a place to crash, then absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for you
so
to come to the UK to LA would be the flight would probably be the most expensive thing, but like these are things I want to start going to more often. For me, it's the interaction with people you work with on the podcast.
It's the community.
Yeah,
We
well,
really do have an awesome community.
I mean, I don't know whether or not it kind of transmitted well over here, but there was obviously the entire event's like 320,000 people, so
Jeez,
huge.
man.
But the Xbox booth was 50,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Biggest one ever. Yeah.
Yep.
It was like it literally stood out, and the reactions from the crowd when Starfield was on every time was just insane.
I love it.
Really
the fan base is so excited, and that's why we're going to get into some of the media stuff. That's, the stuff with IGN. We're not going to get into. I spent an hour and 12 minutes talking about it with Crispy Bomb and Hargy. So we're not going to get. If you missed that, go check out that show. We are going to get into some of the stuff that has gone on very publicly with Eurogamer, which I thought was very gross. ACG, a good friend of this. I wouldn't even say good friend. I would say a damn great friend of this community, good friend of the show, had something to say about people not getting codes and, this entitlement that a lot of these, these sites think. They just think, oh, I'm a site, I'm going to get it. But they build their brand on dumping on Xbox for clicks and for engagement. And they have the audacity to want to get these codes. It's like shocking to me. Kay Asante, what's up, brother? We're gonna come to you in a second. First of all, Mag,
yes,
it's great to have you back. I'm glad that you didn't break anything on your vacation. I know you're good for that.
That's my mind.
You also have some sad news, folks.
Yes. So, first of all, it's great to be back here tonight. It's great to be on the show tonight, and already the chat's been going wild. I've been saying hi to everybody in there. However, as work has become absolutely insane on my Tuesday to Saturday work week, this will be my last official show on Primetime Gaming. It has been 3 years and 2 months of basically, I've missed maybe 4 or 5 shows in 3 years. It's crazy. It's been one hell of a run. I got to tell you, man. It's been one hell of a run from that very first day all the way till now. So it's been incredible. It's been awesome. And you know what? Whenever I have a free night or whatever else, and there's something major happen, like, I don't know, Todd Howard decides to run a marathon like Forrest Gump. I don't know, whatever's going to happen in this world and not hit an invisible wall, I will be here to talk about it. It'll be one of those things. But anyways, I'm excited to be here. My review for Starfield is ready. I'm ready to give it a 1 out of 10 because I wasn't able to stand on gas. I wasn't able to, I hit invisible walls, all these things. So anyways, I got the review ready. Tomorrow morning.
I know why the 1 out of 10, Mag, and you got to be honest. Obviously, this is you have a dual personality. This is the pony coming out.
Oh, don't worry. I got a video launching tomorrow morning. So
could not land on the gas planet. So that's why you're giving it a 1 out of 10.
Oh,
we're not gonna specifically say who just got railroaded and unbelievably embarrassed because we don't name names here because it's not really right. I don't like talking about people.
Yeah,
but if you know who I'm talking about, he's a pretty big Xbox troll, and he said something pretty, heinous, and actual science came to the rescue of X.
He was the king of trolling.
The king. I'm not King something. I don't remember who it was, but it wasn't King David. I can assure you of that.
Oh yeah, careful, Hargy. You might call down some thunder by accident. Anyways,
okay.
We do have great things to
listen,
talk
stop
about
trashing everybody, Mr. Pony.
It's been it's going to be a great show tonight. We got things to talk about. Dutch, I want to say your coverage of the Gamescom was awesome. I checked it out every single day. You had photos up and everything else. I still don't understand why that guy was holding the crate of tomatoes. To this day, I still don't sleep at night thinking about it. It's got Dutch, Aaron Greenberg, and some dude holding a box of tomatoes, and I'm like, "What's with the tomatoes?" And of course, Dutch never answered the damn question, so I still don't know what that's about. But anyways, the coverage was remarkable. Thank you very much for that.
He was really good. Obviously, they were to throw at Starfield because the game is a 1 out of 10. Obviously, it is what it is. Hey, Asante,
Really good
what's
tomatoes,
going
though.
on, brother? How the heck are you? And did everyone in the panel politely pre-order the Vasco pop on the Gear Shop? Because I did.
Yeah, I'm having a good time, man. It's good to be here. It's been a long long work day. I have not had the best of work days, but it's good. I'm here. I'm having a good time watching all the craziness unfold while I'm trying to stay focused. But yes, I got myself the Funko. I may have actually gotten more than one. You know, maybe we'll do some interesting things with that thing. Maybe a little later.
Giveaway.
But yes, no, it's been an awesome day. I have not been jealous at all for those who got their consolation editions, and I'm still waiting for Best Buy to ship me mine, Cravens. No, but it's all good.
And
I'm here to talk games.
Don't you know? Now everyone has heard the horrendous story that he 4K Asante pre-orders it at GameStop and is told, "Oh, sorry, we don't have one for you." Then is told, "Oh, we do have one for you," and he's like, "F you, you're not getting my money." And thanks to you, Hargeet,
I got one from them.
Yes.
They have more available now, so I'm like, okay, you know what the heck? I'm just gonna
See,
buy it.
but isn't that hilarious? They literally lied to me because they thought they didn't have any more, and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, we have more now."
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us not go down that negative path. The game is upon us. I have it installed on everything that can install it, even
So does
certain things that
Hargeet.
supposedly can install it.
I
We
got
shall
it on
see.
My Rogue Ally, my PC, my
Got it on
Xbox. Yep, it's ready. to roll.
Everything.
Yep.
Let's
Oh,
go.
man, this is
Ready to
going to be
roll,
fun.
man.
Listen, folks, obviously we're talking Starfield, but to do that, I want to bring in Hargeet and let him just take over the podcast because we saw this very late this afternoon. Windows Central, obviously, Jez Gordon dropped an outstanding. I mean, I read the article twice. It is a phenomenal read because it's told almost like a story, and it's Todd Howard's words on how he got this thing up and running, meaning Starfield. And and we were talking in the green room, Hargeet. I mean, like, I'm talking about it and like I'm getting goosebumps. Like I'm so excited for this game. Like, I literally yelled when they rang the bell to bring the special edition to the apartment. I haven't been this excited for a game, and I really can't remember. I think the last time speaking about a game gave me goosebumps like this, where I literally am going to be staying up way too late on Thursday into Friday morning, was like Halo 3. And
Yes.
if you are someone that appreciates really what goes into gaming, like, honestly, like, you really care about what goes into gaming, what Hargeet is about to tell us, you should read it. You should take the time, get over to Windows Central, check out Jez Gordon's story. It's really phenomenal. By all means, take it away, Hargeet.
All right, so I'm just reading the letter that was sent out by Todd Howard, and it starts. I knocked on Robert Altman's door. Got a few minutes? Sure. It was early 2013. We were developing Fallout 4, and Skyrim was still enjoying enormous success. I was there to pitch him on our next game. It would not be a sequel to our current games. He looked concerned. But a grand space RPG and our first new IP in over 25 years. Looks curious. It would delve into creation and the search for our place in the universe. Slight twinkle. You would explore the galaxy in ways only video games can do, and it would be called Starfield. A smile. Sounds fantastic. Robert would be the very first to believe in us, no matter the situation. Our path to creating Starfield would be a long and winding one, where we made other games along the way: Fallout 4, Skyrim, Fallout Shelter, Skyrim VR, Fallout 76, Skyrim again. The core development from 2020 to 2023 saw enormous changes in our lives. A global pandemic, Robert's passing, and becoming part of Xbox. It's incredible to be at the moment where Starfield is finally launching this week. It only exists because everyone else believed as well. We've been supported for decades by everyone at ZeniMax, all doing their best work yet. Special thanks to our publishing teams who aim to create not just another release, but something that would capture the minds and inspire gamers everywhere. And to our partners in QA who had the difficult task of testing a game where anything can and will happen. And thanks to Jamie Leader and our admin, HR teams who supported everyone during the most challenging years any of us have faced. And of course, there's Phil Spencer. His support of every game and every player has been unwavering and fierce. Joining Xbox brought us closer to so many we had worked with for over 20 years. I cannot imagine a better place to create games where the diversity of studios, creators, and games are allowed to flourish. This support came from the entire Xbox leadership team and all areas of publishing and dev support. Special thanks to the magicians at ATG, whose spells and incantations helped make this our best performing game. Most importantly is the team I work with at Bethesda Game Studios. It's an incredible blessing to be surrounded by so many talented and inspirational people every day. Moments like this make you reflect back. Some of us have been together for decades, some joined more recently, but everyone has the same passion. I could not be more prouder of their continued dedication to create something truly special. Lastly, a huge thanks to all of you within the Xbox and Bethesda family. Your enthusiasm and encouragement have meant the world to us. Creating this game has been one of the most challenging and thrilling experiences of our careers, a journey we'll never forget. And as we come to the end of this chapter, we pass it along to you. Each of you is receiving the game with early access and can begin playing this Friday, September 1st. But since it's one global time, you can actually play Thursday evening. Thanks, New Zealand. We hope you get a chance to play and that your journey is as rewarding as ours. All our best, Todd.
I mean, that's a powerful, like letter that's obviously was meant for us to read, because he obviously gave that to Jez Corden. Whoever was interviewing him took the notes. Like for you, you read it, and you obviously that's now like the second or third time you're reading it yourself, Harkeet. What does the letter actually mean? Like, what does that really spell for you?
So it sort of gives you an insight of like, there's challenges that they had to go through, obviously 2022, 2023, as we all know. And then we may not think about this, but like their leader died, right? As they were in the middle of this whole acquisition.
Yep. Right.
The head of of ZeniMax died. And that's gotta hurt, right? It just is what it is. You just think about like somebody that's leading your company that you've had that vision with them for a long time. Just gone, right? And they're
a quick weird. Can I put a quick weird aside in that their leader died? That leader who happens to be the husband of Wonder Woman. I'm sorry.
That's
Continue.
right. Yeah, that's true. Linda Carter, right? Is his wife. Who I guess now got to sell the company. She made the money, but whatever. But so and then they transitioned to Xbox, all while in lockdowns, right? And they're trying to it was good for them to have that relationship, and they called it out, right? He called it out that they've had this long-standing relationship with Xbox. So they just came home to friends that they knew, and Phil and the team have been awesome for them, right? So all that was detailed there, but it's a journey for them. It's a long journey, and it started a long, in this case, 2013. He said, he walked in and tried to get that, that pitch. To let's try to make another game, not in this, the two that we've been making, Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Let's try something different, and getting that approval to move forward and making this happen. Right, it's a long journey, which just makes it all the more annoying when you hear all this like stupid crap from all these like. Think about the studio, the people that have been doing these games that have been phenomenal RPGs. One of the premier studios, and that studio has put together something incredible that they're all very proud of. He's very proud of. And this is what that was really about. It was like, hey, we've accomplished something. We've put a lot of our heart and soul into it. Couldn't be more proud of the team. Couldn't be more proud of the publishing arm and of Xbox helping us get this done. Right. So it sounded like a really good, finality to what's come over the last 25 years of imagining, but at least the last decade or so of making a game, right? So that's what it is, right? So I was saying it's 8 years. It looks like it was 10 years pitched to finally releasing. They finally, it was a 10-year journey for them to get this game out. So that's what it's, there's I'm sure there's more you can read into it, but that's what I'm getting out of it. And I thought it was pretty well put together. So I liked it. I thought it was, and that's why I said to Dubé, hey, we got to talk about this. This sounds so good.
Yeah.
We got to talk about this. So,
Dutch, Hargeet made mention of something where he used the word annoying. And we have in jest, on Twitter, talk about how the PlayStation community has literally melted down. Like they are, and I don't mean everybody. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Not everyone's being a knucklehead, but there is such a large subset of the PlayStation community that have they seem broken by this game. Like literally, instead of championing playing something different than an over-the-shoulder third-person, story-driven game that they're known for. Well, let me get an Xbox and see what this is about. Now, these are the same folks that on the eve of this release, Sony just gave you the banana in the tailpipe with raising PlayStation Plus $40 with no day-to-day games. And we're going to get to that, but it's I don't want to say it's amusing. It's quite gross because when you have Dutch, when you have regular community members, and we know who we're talking about. And like I said, we don't do that on this show. We don't throw people under the bus because they're not here to defend themselves, but you know who they are. When they're out there rah-rahing for PlayStation, it's console war rhetoric. You're like, yeah, whatevs. But when the media gets involved, and we've seen some things in the last couple of weeks that have been nothing short of just tribalism at its absolute worst. When you hear the trials and tribulations that this team, which again, we don't know if it's hundreds or 1,000+ people that worked on this game. I would dare to say that it's 1,000+ people that worked on this game. And, well, it's going to be something really special. Some people are already calling it generational. And I have no problem with it because usually, Bethesda makes generational games. And this is a new IP. This is a really big deal for Xbox. So it is disappointing, when you hear it from the community, but you're like, yeah, it's the community, it's social media, free reign, right? But when you hear it from the media, it's disgusting. Let's get your hot take on what Todd had to say to basically everyone, because that letter is an open letter to everyone that's a Bethesda fan.
Yeah, it was a nice touch at the end of a very long development cycle. Of course, like full development was like 8+ years, and that's not including then the full-on work that's went behind the idea and everything like that, building up to the part where he's then trying to pitch it to somebody. We're talking, they mentioned it's the first new IP in over 25 years. And then the actual kind of thought process and everything behind the IP started like 20 years ago. And then eventually they put it into production like just under 10 years ago. So it's been a long process, and you'll tend to find a lot of developers, when talking about long process game development, is just they dislike it, but it is coming part and parcel because things are becoming more and more difficult to develop as games get larger in scale and more technical. So I'm thinking at this point as well, the staff will be pretty tired. They'll be both sad and happy to be eventually finished with a very long project, but also then get the verbal thank you from their seniors as well for their hard work. It's always appreciated. As much as people love bonuses and things like that, no doubt they'll get them if the game does well, and I've got no doubt it will. That verbal acknowledgement as well, like thank you for the hard work, does go a long way, and it's good to see them putting out these posts to themselves and obviously from Todd on that side as well to the team at the Xbox, who've assisted them significantly over the last kind of year and a half, 2 years since the acquisition and getting that game to where it is now. So yeah, massive shout out to him. In all intents and purposes, Todd, when he was at Gamescom, was super busy. He was escorted around the place very quickly. But when he did have a chance to stop and chat to people briefly, he did so. But of course, it's a little bit different because, of course, flying over from the States and things, jet lag, you're there for like a day or two at most. You don't really have the chance to catch up and things. So it's a nice post. It was a nice post. And fingers crossed for all the team that it hits as well as we think it will. And thanks to Todd's historic kind of achievements. He's the last 4 major titles he's released haven't hit any less than an 88, and the highest was Skyrim on Xbox at a 96. So I think they'll be in good hands with their thought process and how the worlds are built, etc. And that's mainly why Bethesda games do well. It's not because they look beautiful, because they do look good usually. It's not because they're technically sound, because they're usually known for being buggy. But the stories and the worlds that this team create and have historically created are why it scores so highly all the time. So I've got no doubt that this game, from the world building aspect and the stories that you can create, will knock it out the park again. So yeah, great note by Todd, and fingers crossed for the team that it does well tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, like, we'll before we get out of the topic, we'll throw, we'll ask everyone in the chat what they think it's going to be. I've kind of raised my bar a little bit. I'm thinking 95 to 97, just based on whatever I've seen, because I haven't really talked to anybody. No one that I know has broken any NDAs, which is fantastic. But obviously, the more you speak, you hear about the trailer that was at Gamescom. You I don't know about anyone else. I've watched the Direct over 30 times now, and every time I see it, I bet it was. I bet it was fantastic. And every time I see it, I find something new, something I missed. So we'll go back to everybody, and we'll read it. Let's Mag, let's bring you in on the letter.
Yes.
From Todd Howard, because like I said, I really think that you've been keeping your ear to the floor, because we've been talking in DMs, and you've seen some of the shenanigans that has gone on. Yeah. And like I said, the media, we don't really count the media, because there's knuckleheads on all sides. There are Xbox trolls, there are Nintendo trolls, which you don't really hear much of them, but it's really PlayStation and Xbox, and they all have their bad guys. That's life, right? That's the way it is. When you see big conglomerate media types getting in the trenches and saying things that I find to be incredibly disrespectful, incredibly irrelevant to what we're supposed to be doing here, and that's celebrating gaming. And we're going to get into some of those things. There is certainly an entitlement thing going on right now that I have brought up on numerous occasions. Kay himself has brought it up. The guy from Tweek Town, I'm going to read his tweet. This has to be the most embarrassing and ridiculous tweet I've ever heard from someone that owns a company that has a website dedicated to gaming. We're going to get to that. But let's get your hot take on Todd's open letter.
Well, first of all, you could tell it was a very endearing letter, right? This is the kind of thing that it's coming straight from the heart. It's not corporate speak. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell when there's a letter, it's just, especially me, I get that stuff all day long, right? From 7 a.m. till when I leave, I'm getting corpo speak letters all day, and you could just read through that crap. This sounds like a dude who sent a letter like to his friend. You know what I mean? Like, you're just saying, hey, thanks a lot for this and this and that. You know what I mean? Like, it was really heartfelt. The thing is, too, what a lot of people don't realize is that this is not just a game per se. It is, obviously, but I mean, we're talking how many years? 25 years in basically in the making, essentially from conception to actual active, development, and then on to the release of the game. I mean, this guy's been thinking about this for 2.5 decades, and God willing, that could be like a quarter of your entire life. Or a third of your life, whatever, right? I'm just saying, like, this is a huge part of your life. This is not just we came up with an idea, we slapped it together in 2 years, and here you go, right? It's not that kind of thing. This is something that's been near and dear to his heart. Like, I don't know how old Todd Howard is. Does anybody know offhand? Or anybody in the chat, just to let me know how old Todd Howard is. Subtract 25 years from that.
He's probably, if he's not in his late 40s, he might be in his early 50s.
Maybe in 50s. So let's just say
he's
from a young buck.
He's 52.
53 is my age. Yeah,
okay,
so
52.
There you go. I'll be 53 in September. Yep.
I mean, the guy was
born in the
70s.
1970. He was born.
That's what's up. Disco era. So here's the thing. the guy was in his 20s when he was thinking about this. He's now in his 50s and it's finally come to fruition. I would be like, if I had a project that I was working on that long, at least not just, like I said, not just on paper, not in front of a computer. I'm saying even up here in your head and in your heart, I would be in tears when I see that thing launch. Regardless of like how it turns out, like, and it's going to turn out great. But the thing is, it's like it's such a huge chunk of his life. And then like I like to liken it to an emotional journey. If you think about it that way, it's like like for me, if I look back and I met what's his name, William Shatner. I met William Shatner last year, right? I've been watching Star Trek since I was 4 years old. And when I met him, I was like, I didn't cry when I saw him, but when I left, I did, because he's been a part of my journey.
Dude.
It's a big deal because it's been part of my life journey for decades and decades and decades, right? And that's just me not casually, but like watching something like on a television or on a movie screen or whatever. This is something that's actively his, right? So imagine the passion and the emotion that's going into that. Now, also, let's not ignore this. Imagine people saying, well, when you walk 10 feet and hit a wall, it's no good. Can you imagine you work on something for like 25 years and you have some guy say something stupid like that? Or else like, the whole other thing, or their facial expressions don't look perfect. Come on, man. This is not what it's about. Dutch said it too. Okay. They're not technically the best, they don't make technically perfect games, but man, they make incredible stories. They make experiences that we don't forget and will not forget. And that is the point of all this. The point of all this is that we are to be entertained. Do you sit down and watch a movie and say, whoop, the blocking was a little funny in that one scene, right? I don't like the way that guy, crossed across the camera. Well, no one's looking at that stuff. You just want to sit there and go,
the shark didn't look real. It looked rubbery.
Like, come on. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, do you feel the emotion of the film or of the scene or something that makes you laugh or get scared or cry? Or do you remember a technical thing like, oh, well, it looked like the guy looked off screen because the guy was holding up a cue card with his lines? No, you're paying attention to the experience that it's putting you through as a user. Now, the one thing I could say is that we haven't played it yet. Okay. But from what we said, Boom, just like you said, the one thing is that the people who have, we can trust that they are giving us, a great idea of what to expect is what I'm trying to get at, right? And that's the thing. And so that's what we're seeing. Now, as for these media people, which you brought up, all they're doing now is trying to cash in on a big name, okay? All they're doing is you get the clout chasers who just like say something stupid because they want to get, some clout and here and there. Prime example, you get these people like trying to start like wars and stuff like that. Whenever a new Spider-Man comes out, have you seen it? I'm sure you guys have seen it. Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. And I know like some of them just do it as a joke, but some of them do it to fan the flames of whatever wars are going on out there, right? And they do that kind of stuff because they want their clicks, they want their dollars. However, it makes no sense because at the end of the day, these guys, especially these big media types, you know what they're doing now? They're going down to these little guys, and it's not the big people that are not all the big people that are doing it. Some of them are, but then you get these other guys who got a cell phone, okay, and all of a sudden they're a journalist. And what's happening is they're going, you know what? I need a little notoriety. I need a couple 100,000 views. Let me talk smack about Starfield because everybody is talking about it. Go to Twitter, X, and go look down the list of what's trending. At least 3 or 4 items are Starfield related. It is insane. I know it's tailored to me because of my algorithm, right? But I mean, you see trending Todd Howard, trending Starfield, trending Bethesda, trending Game Pass, whatever. And it's every single day. So what do these clowns do? These clowns go on there and they're going, what's trending? How can I piss everybody off? Because pissing people off brings traffic, right? Because it gets people to engage. And that's what these guys do. These guys are outrage clicks. These guys are click cash. They're clickbait and they're click clowns at the end of the day. So, you know what I mean? I pay no attention to it. I don't click on their articles. I do not engage with anybody in the community that starts saying that stuff. Actually, when it comes to Starfield, I haven't really engaged with anything at all, except for a video I'm releasing tomorrow. But besides that, I'm waiting till after the weekend because this weekend I'm busy. But after this weekend, I'm going to get that game in my hands, and then by next week, people will know exactly how I feel. And that's something that I think we all should do is just be excited for it, be excited for the game. If you're not excited for the game, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. but just don't try to diminish other people's excitement. I think that that's unfair and silly. You know what I mean? And it's like you get the people out there who hate Disney and whatever else. That's fine. I understand why. But when something new comes out, don't trounce on other people's excitement. You know what I mean? Like, why you have to be that kind of person? Like, boom, if you're excited for Ahsoka, am I going to come into your chats and go, it's going to be trash? Da, 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 da. No, I'm going to see, God bless, brother. I hope you really enjoy the show, and I hope it's everything you wanted to see from a Rebels sequel. That's it. Leave it alone.
And you would do that because if you gave me Ahsoka slander, I would block you. I love that show.
Yeah, I got to think for Rosario Dawson. I met her in person once, and I couldn't speak. But anyways,
there you go.
Yeah,
that's crazy because you're never a loss for words. So that's
no, dude. I'm usually not a loss for words, but she had me for a loss of words. Actually, even Shatner had me for a loss of words too. All I could say to him was thank you, and I think that was enough. But either way, the point is, guys, whoever's excited, stay positive. And you know what? The people that are negative, I actually implore the Xbox community. I've reached out to people. I'm like, guys, do not engage with these people because you're just going to make yourself roped into the same situation as them. Don't do it. Just ignore them, be happy, and let the product speak for itself at the end of the day. It's just like a sports team. Let the scoreboard do the talking. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, great points. Great points. Listen, Kay Asante, before we bring you in on the conversation, I got to catch up on these super chats before they get out of control. We have a lot of new members. We're going to come to you and get your hot take.
And real quick, Hargeet, I swear I did not try to just get that code, but let's move on, shall we? All right.
and shout out to Hargeet, who is not only a channel member, he's on the panel, folks, and he just dropped a premium edition of Starfield.
What?
If you got it, please congratulate this man. Give him his flowers.
And hit that like button just for Hargeet doing that, please. My goodness.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is a monster giveaway, guys.
That's a $100 giveaway, folks. That's a big deal. So we have a couple new channel members. God Emperor Sofa King has become a channel member. Thank you so much for that. And Crazy G14 has become a channel member as well. Thank you for the support. Sith Lord drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Boom, show off the bling. More boom, the better." You know what? People are asking if I'm wearing a watch. Here's the thing. I have it. I did an unboxing. I haven't had a chance to really, because I haven't even set up the watch yet. It's literally sitting in the box. I want to take my time and enjoy it. So I will be wearing it probably when I'm playing Starfield like a big nerd, but I will show it off tomorrow on the socials. Percolator 9000, who's been a channel member for 5 months, says, "Time flies. Keep it up, boom, brother." Thank you so much for that. DeAndre Banks drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "PlayStation Plus raising prices by 30%. LOL. Yes, and you're not getting day and date, which is it's just ridiculous." We'll get to that as well. Dean Rivera drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "It's funny that IGN hasn't posted an article about the PlayStation Plus price increase. When Xbox did it, they had an article out immediately on their site."
No, they have one. They have one. That's why I found it.
One?
Yeah, that's where I found it. So
okay, so I didn't see it. It wouldn't have surprised me if that was true, but listen, they have to report on that because they have millions of PlayStation fans, and PlayStation fans, which I'm not paying for that, just got railroaded. I'm going to tell you that right now. Quan the Terrible has become a new channel member. Brother, thank you so much for that. David Lyons drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Starfield. You are go for launch. Man, I cannot wait for 8 o'clock tomorrow. RC Polygons drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "We all know if Microsoft would ever acquire Take-Two Interactive, the media would unfairly downplay it and say that the GTA isn't graphically good looking." I mean, that wouldn't surprise me either. Pat F drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "1 day left." Indeed. And we are like literally like 24 hours and like 21 minutes to kick off. I cannot wait. Corey Tidwell drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "I believe we are about to witness the biggest game launch ever. I have never been more excited for a game." Yeah, you and me both, dude. Like, honestly, I'm so stoked for this game. Crazy G14 drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, "I think Microsoft and Bethesda did the right thing with only giving codes to Xbox podcasters / influencers best way to get honest opinions, even with NDAs. I mean, they gave it to a lot of people that were like, listen, if you got a code, be genuine, because not every you're not guaranteed a code because you're a podcaster A or influencer B or website C. And again, we're gonna get into that, because again, this entitlement situation is gross. It really is just gross. So we have Spartan 661 dropped a very generous $5 super chat and says, Bethesda game lets us experience things that we would never be able to do in real life. It's a gift from them to all of us gamers to play and enjoy. Very well said. I mean, beautifully said. Highlander 001 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, if you have to attack a game because it's not in your plastic box, instead of playing a game you like, what does that say about you and your box? And that's very true. Chaosante, we're going to start with you, and then we're going to start the next topic with you. What I want you to do is give us your from a managerial position of power, which you are. What does this letter of endearment to not only the staff, but the Xbox and Bethesda fan base?
It's super interesting. I really loved the reading the letter. As you guys are saying, like it's been a busy day for me, so I haven't been able to focus too much. Every once in a while, I turn around and I go, "They crazy," and then I go back to work. But I read this fully, and it's really, really interesting. So first and foremost, a bit of a correction. This was an internal memo that then, when Jez got his hands on it, went to Microsoft. They confirmed, because obviously you're not going to be like, "Oh, there's nothing in here that should be kept quiet." So like the sentiment has been known, they knew this would get out there, and it's good that it got out there, because it kind of puts a very fine bow on the whole development and everything else that has come so far. So for me, I like you guys have said, this is his magnum opus. This is his his dream that has been eluding him for 20 some odd years while going through the motions of all the various other great projects that he has done. Right. And he's finally been able to bring it to fruition. This was literally him just taking a moment to thank the people that have helped him get to where he is. And so much has happened between the beginning of that and where we are now, and so from a genuine creator perspective, I think that this is as earnest as you can take it. Like he was genuinely thanking people and appreciating that moment that he has had with his team and with the company as a whole, in getting something out that they consider super special. Right now, from a managerial perspective, what does that do? It also helps to inoculate some of the BS that's going on around here, right? While people are going low into the trenches, right? Trying to find any way to either discredit or trying to bring it to that place where we really shouldn't be, because this is a celebration, right? This elevates the conversation. This brings it to that level. And if you are not one that can engage with that at that level, then you're left behind, because you shouldn't be part of the conversation at all, right? You have to understand that as all my panel members have eloquently put it, this has been countless years of people's lives. This is not a man who's hungry for money, who needs to fight for his bread. No. He could be sitting on a beach right now and never have another worry, another day in his life. And this is what he chooses to do with himself, right? In between pandemics, in between, as Wandering Dutch was saying, coming to Germany for a day and turning around. I've done something like that. Trust me, it ain't fun, right? Going someplace that's 6 hours ahead of schedule and then coming back just for a day, just to go see people, just to press the flesh for a moment and turning around. They are burning the candle at all ends on this one, just for the purpose of putting out the best product they have. It was delayed, for a purpose, and by and large, that delay seems to have benefited it. There's a lot of history here. There's a big journey that they've gone through, and of course, the minute that this is done and it's handed to you, then your journey begins. So I think it's a beautiful button up of this whole situation. And the idea that touching on a little bit of the community and the broader drama that has happened that I've kind of caught little dribs and drabs of, that stuff happens. It's going to continue to happen. That's just always part and parcel of these kind of experiences. And I'm more focused on the merit of this game.
Yeah.
I'm focused on where it'll fall. Now, when I say where it'll fall, I don't mean where it'll fall in the Metacritic, because I feel kind of like, because this game is as monstrous as it is, even if it gets great scores or it gets terrible scores, it won't be on its basis of its merit alone. I mean, let's be clear here. Let's keep it a buck. Some folks were a little hurt that they didn't get the code when they were supposed to, and now they're ready to pass judgment. I'm like, okay, that's a very foreshadowing situation there. So I don't foresee the Metacritic being something that stands on its own as something that can be relied upon because, hey, this is the merits of the game. There's too much poison in the water for that. So I'm just kind of closing my ear to all of that and trying to focus on, hey, there are a few key people that have played this game and are playing this game that I trust their thoughts, right? I may not necessarily always align with this person or that person, but when they give me their genuine take, I know they're talking from a place of purity, a place where, hey, that a place where genuinely it's about the game rather than all the drama that's surrounding it. So I'm excited. I can't wait for it to come. As I said, it's installed on anything that can be installed, and even on things that can't be installed. So we shall see.
You bring up a very interesting point. Almost everything else Todd Howard has done is somebody else's IP. This is the first thing he did that's his.
This is his baby.
This is his baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is interesting.
Fallout is somebody else's IP. They took it and kept continuing it. He has never had his baby. This is
Elder
his
Scrolls
baby.
Came in at 2, I think. He did, and then did 3, and so he didn't do that one. Even Indiana Jones, that's somebody else's IP. He's just making something in it. He worked on a Terminator game. Again, that's somebody else's IP. This is his IP. This is interesting. It's the first time it's his IP, his concept.
And that's what I was saying. That's not only just his IP. It's his IP since his 20s.
His 20s. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
his magnum opus.
53 years old.
That is it. This is his Mozart's Requiem. It's like his whole life.
It's almost like he spent his entire life doing others' IPs justice just for the right to be able to do something of his own. And this is it.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, think about this, Asante. He's 52. Mm-hmm. If he has another idea like this, he ain't making games at 80. This is it. This is the big one.
Though we hope he does. Let's hope.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at it in that respect, right?
You're right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. It's his whole life.
Yeah. It's like I said. We are on the cusp, folks. We are damn near literally 24 hours to playing one
day, 11 minutes. You can see it in my early.
I have a countdown over here, and it was so long before, and now it's we're in the end game. Like this is crazy.
We should do a podcast at 8:01 tomorrow and see how many people show up.
Dude,
just out of curiosity.
It is going. Listen, if you I'll put it to this way. You know what, you would probably get a lot of people to show up because they would be playing while listening to you if you had something relevant to say. For me, I got the headphones ready. They're going on. Lights are getting shut off. Listen, I'm wearing the watch. I'm using the controller. I'm wearing the Starfield headphones. I'm nerding the fuck out. I'm telling you that right now. Sorry for the curse, folks, but I had to say it. I am nerding the F out.
The jacket would come out at the same time, right? We get the jacket next month. Why aren't we getting the jacket this month? Why isn't it coming out now? I can put that around my console.
I wanna roles reverse. I want to go back to Asante. And this is where we get into where the gaming media starts to get a little bit funny. You know, you brought to my attention, even though you've been really busy at work, the whole John Letterman, the whole Eurogamer thing, and I really want you to run with that. But just for context and what we're going to talk about, and this entitlement thing, and look. I have 13,000 subscribers. The channel is incredibly small, right? I have 3 Xbox podcasts. I think I represent the brand pretty well. I have been recognized not only by Bethesda, but by Microsoft as well. And I did get approved for a review code. I just didn't get the review code that some people got. I'm getting it on the 31st. Now I already spent $300. You know, I mean, it's. I'm gonna take the review code. Now I own Starfield, but they recognize the channel. And at no given time did you ever see me fling poo and say, "How dare you, Bethesda, not send me a code?" Everyone's playing. Why am I not playing? Now, was I hurt? Nah, not really, because the channel is still relatively small. But I did get approved, and there was a lot going on, so it's perfectly fine. But what we're about to talk about, and this entitlement with big media, is where we get a little gross. So I have a tweet opened here. This comes the way, and again, I'm a little shocked. Okay, it's from Derek Strickland. He is the owner and operator of Tweektown. Right? Now I don't really use a lot of Derek's stuff because he's very PlayStation centric, and he takes his shot a lot at Xbox. So I have used some of his stuff, and of course, whenever I do, I give him credit. Listen to this tweet he puts out there. In a tough spot with Starfield, I haven't been able to secure a review build yet. I'm kind of iffy on Game Pass PC mod support, so I want to opt for a Steam version, but I really don't want to pay $99 to get early access. It looks like I may not play Starfield until September 6th. I'm sorry. What? Like, run...
This is the smallest violin playing just for you.
Yeah, no, I'm serious, but you run a video game website that I'm sure you could write off that $99 at the end of the year for your taxes. Like, is that a cry for help? Well, apparently no one really gave a shit because he only got 32 likes. So no one really cared what he had to say. So I want to read a tweet, and I guess Jerry, you see, the one thing you have to love about ACG, Jeremy Penter, besides his channel crossing 1 million subscribers, and who better, right? Who better than that dude? He wears his shit on his sleeve, and you have to love him for it. He will tell you about yourself, and he'll tell people about, and he'll do it in the most polite manner, like he's going to do here, but this is why he's respected. He put out a tweet, not specifically aimed at anyone. It is a general blanketed statement, but I know who he's talking about. He says this, folks, and a man that has over 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel that pretty much gets codes for everything. This is what he had to say. No one is owed a code. And if you don't get one, you aren't being blocked. You're just not getting one. Happens to all of us. Will happen again. And 1,000 years into the future, if it's still happening, you still won't be owed a code. And I think that is definitely finger pointy at Eurogamer and what Kay Sante is about to talk about. Literally crying on the interwebs. Almost embarrassing. But you know what they didn't cry about? Now, I don't know who the two females were because I don't really follow Eurogamer. But they had two females. Now, not that they're female, but they're two of their staff members during the Bethesda Direct did nothing, Kay, but dump on Starfield. How is Bethesda supposed to take that? This is the entitlement thing. Your staffers are running rampant, saying whatever they want with no holds barred. And when you don't get a code, you go to the interwebs like cowards and you cry about it. Let's talk about it.
So first and foremost, I will say Bethesda has been notorious for this kind of behavior. There was a time, I think Fallout 4, nobody got the code until the day of its release. No one. To the point where IGN also did the same thing. They put it on Front Street. Oh, we didn't get a code. Oh. No one did. Right? And it looks like there may be a rhyme or reason to it. You know, I don't know why they did it then that way. It looks like they're streamlining their process in this way, where most American or they had a hand-picked. You know, it looks like it happened in stages, right? There were some very specific content creators and other influencers and whatnot that got it first, and then there's more, and it's drip feeding. But on the topic specifically of Eurogamer, and first and foremost, let me say I've watched a bunch of Eurogamer content. I watched a bunch of the Eurogamer YouTube channel. I watch a lot of stuff, whether stuff people I agree with all the time or people I don't agree with. As long as you're above board and you're there talking about your stuff, I watch the stuff, because I want to get a more world-rounded view. And I will tell you this: by and large, they put on a good show. The two females you're describing, and there's another gentleman that joins them as well, and they talk a myriad of topics. They have a good community, all of that. There is not one Xbox main between them, and I'm not talking about between them in the group, but like on their channel. And if there are, I, as a person who has them, who has subscribed and has my notifications on, have never seen them. Right. So to be clear, whenever I don't get the best rah-rah from Eurogamer, I'm not surprised, because they are a PlayStation house. Right. That's just is what it is. And besides, they're from the UK, which, based on all the evidence and all the information we've heard now, that means you throw a stone and you'll hit 5 PlayStation people before you see somebody who has one of these shirts on. It just is what it is, right? So you can't fault them. It just is what it is. They are a PlayStation house. Most European houses are PlayStation houses, whether it be journalistic houses or your YouTubes or whatever. It's actually rare that you have Xbox fans in those areas, because it's kind of like swimming upstream in a waterfall. Everybody else is against you, right? So the idea that they don't have a PlayStation, an Xbox-centric guy or person there doesn't bother me necessarily, because, hey, it is the nature of the beast, right? The thing that does annoy or irk is that sense of entitlement, right? It's that sense of, hey,
Indeed.
and we got that. It kind of mimics the what do you call it, the ABK thing, right? There was a time where it was just like, we are the name in gaming, we deserve this. Now you don't really deserve anything, right? Like, this is not really yours to make determinations. You don't get to dictate terms. Oh, well, sorry, viewers, you will not be getting a review from your trusted source today, because, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it smacked of entitlement. It smacked of arrogance, right? And honestly, like, I won't go like too hard into it, because look, PlayStation has been the name of gaming for a long time. If you were talking to somebody in the 80s, you say, stop playing that Nintendo. No, I'm playing a Sega. They didn't know that. It was a Nintendo, because it was the name of gaming then, right? Today, your grandma will say, get off that PlayStation. Nah, ma, I'm playing an Xbox. Doesn't matter. It's the name of gaming. So if you get people who don't necessarily go the other way, right, or like the other thing, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Now, I will pause and say, when you are a journalistic outfit, right, and you're trying to establish a benchmark that others are supposed to see you by, these guys are supposed to be, the tip of the spear, beyond reproach. It kind of smacks a little bit disingenuous. It smacks a little bit grimy, when clearly you are very one-sided, right? And I try to keep my head above the water. I enjoy this stuff. Whenever the fray happens, I may poke in a little bit, and then I'll step away. But even I must admit that I was a little happy. I took a small tiny bit of enjoyment when they announced that. Oh, no, it's not that they didn't get a code. It's that their technical arm, Digital Foundry, yeah, they got a code. No soup for you. They get a code, and it goes through the door, right? It doesn't go to Richard Ledbetter right away. It goes through the Eurogamer front door in the hands of the man who's going to write this article. And then he goes, oh, I'm not allowed to even get the code. No, I'm not allowed to play. I have to give it to Richard. Okay. And it has to make that determination of, am I going to either stand on my high horse and say, screw that? Or am I going to give it to him? Because if I don't give it to him, then Eurogamer / Digital Foundry gets even worse coverage. So he kind of went, and then gave the guy the code, and then went out and went, I didn't get a code. And unfortunately, my part of the tale of sadness here is, an hour later, he got the damn code.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't have
in
given
my
him
world,
but
entitlement does not need to be rewarded. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I thought it was funny. There have been many in this whole sphere that go too far, right? They go too far with all of this stuff. I think it's hilarious. It'll happen again. It's not a big deal. I just hope this game can stand on its merits and all this other ridiculousness. And then, of course, the people from IGN coming out, and there's just so much poison in the water that it makes it difficult to see this thing as itself and appreciate it for what they're going to offer you. Because the minute you get it, you're going to be like, oh, so where's that invisible wall? Oh, well, I can't get on this gas giant. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if I land
they're
on this
poisoning
gas
the
planet,
well.
I'm going to go through it and die. Shut up. So stupid.
They're poisoning the well and making the conversation already a very disingenuous one before we get our hands on this thing that is purported to be a game of the generation, right? So I guess the call to action that I would say everyone here should deal with is exactly like what the mag was saying and what you've been saying, Boom. Try and disconnect from all that BS, right?
Yeah.
Like put the headphones on, press the button on the Starfield controller and let it do the little sound off music. It's really cool when it does all those things, right?
It's really
and just,
cool.
Close the blinds. It's less than 24 hours. Close the blinds, play the game, and make up your own damn mind and stop all this BS, right? So
we are officially 23 hours and 59 minutes away.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah. Now let me be clear. I will fight anybody who wants to fight me on this. I probably have played more space games than anyone alive.
Yeah.
He's I love my space games. While I was waiting for this to come out, I was playing Elite Dangerous. And for those who know, Elite Dangerous, that is the closest to this I was playing. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. So y'all gonna hear more from me once the game comes out, but I'm super excited. And those who feel entitled to just keep crying because I enjoy reading it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Big Mad Mo says, pay attention to the reviews for the ones that got the code late and were done on purpose. Looks like they're about to get exposed. Yeah, absolutely. Dutch, I want to go to you because I got obviously you got a chance to hang out with him during Gamescom. Talking about John Clark, Sigma Mechanico of Xbox Era. I'm a good friend of his and Nick's, and he put out a tweet that is, it's very John, and you know him, and obviously you're going to have a lot to say about the media and the entitlement of why I should get a code because I am Site A. He says, is it just me, or do we see this kind of insanity when it's an Xbox game? And it's not just from fans either. Talking about the media, of course, this tweet will immediately label me as an Xbot or whatever. Anyway. But good Lord, it's just bloody video games, people. Get a grip. And he could not be more correct in his statement. Let's get your take on with the Digital Foundry, Eurogamer, obviously Mr. From Tweek Town out there on Front Street crying that he didn't get a code. This entitlement thing, and it really does go back, Dutch, to like listening to the trials and tribulations told in this letter by Todd Howard. Like they think that these games are just factoried out, and it seems like if it's not a PlayStation game, because I'm gonna tell you something right now, and I'll say this to the 1,006 people that are here, which is, my God, thank you so much for checking out the show. If this was a PlayStation game and a PlayStation exclusive, there would be no stone unturned for the media. And I am being 100% frank and honest with you. Let's get your hot take, Dutch.
Yeah, I put a post about it as well. I find it fascinating that large publications and websites and YouTubers think they're entitled to a review code. Never are, never have been, never will be. And whining about it's not going to do any good. The funny thing is though, everyone's kind of running with the premise that Eurogamer all of a sudden got this code after they published that's not the case, because they've been asking for it for weeks, and eventually the code just happened to turn up. They'd requested it, they were waiting for the code, they got the code. It was just coincidental that it happened to come through after the publication. They'd requested it, they didn't say they weren't going to give them it. All they said was, okay, you're affiliated to ReadPop, that's why you're not getting a code. Digital Foundry can have one to do a technical analysis on the premise that they do not share it with any other part of Eurogamer because Eurogamer is affiliated with ReadPop, who happen to
Isn't
be
that what
affiliated.
went up their butt sideways? You think? I think that's what went up their butt sideways, and that
Yep.
long tirade come out, right?
Are you saying they
Yeah.
got a banana in the tailpipe, sir?
Yeah,
Literally, yes.
yeah. And there are certain companies in the UK, and again, this is what a lot of people don't understand as well, is the US, it's mainly all codes, everything's handled by MS or Bethesda Direct. In the UK and Europe, it is not. They're handled by third parties. So you can complain to MS, but MS weren't the ones that delegated the codes out in the first place in the UK or EU. It's got nothing to do with them. It's the third parties that they go, okay, this is how many codes you've got, third party. This is who like distribute them. If that third party who's distributing them's got an issue with ReadPop, Eurogamer, or anybody in between because of things that they've done in the past, then they'll not get a code. Just simple as that. Like even like Boxy, who he's not big, but even looking at regular things, and he asked Xbox DAC, the German guys, and they go through a third party. Okay, what's happening with the codes and things like that? They were like, we just don't have enough codes to dish out, so we've just kept them to a limited amount of people. Simple as that. It wasn't that he couldn't get a code. Originally, he was told he was getting one, and then they didn't have enough codes, so that was that. And it's just the same across Europe and the UK. Like, not everyone, regardless of size, is going to get a code. And that's the same all the time. No one's entitled to one. If you don't get a code, you don't get a code. So all they've done is just go cry into Microsoft. We didn't get a code. Okay. Right, we'll sort you one out then. But it's like not a big deal. Like a lot of people don't care when their review drops, whether it's on embargo date or not. There's like some weird premise in gaming right now where reviewers think that they have to have a review up by embargo date. Have to. Oh, I won't get the clicks. If you've got dedicated followers who only follow your work and trust your work,
Yep.
then regardless of when you put that review up, it could be the same day, several days later, a week later, 2 weeks later. No matter when you put that up, they'll wait and watch your review or read your review. If you're not confident in the people that are reading your review to come and read your review on the date that you release it, then you're not doing a good enough job. And that means people are just looking at it as and when it's popular, not because you've got a good article. So that's why a lot of people, regardless, will be like, yeah, we'll put it out when it's ready. Even Digital Foundry, who's had it for weeks, yeah, it might be a couple of days late, but whatever, we'll put it out when it's ready. Quite a few people have said that. That's the best way to do it.
A quick aside, one thing too. To your point about people crying to Microsoft about it, one odd thing: Bethesda games aren't pushed by Microsoft. This one was really big enough to the point where Microsoft took some codes and assisted, but by and large is always within Bethesda's purview.
Yep.
Microsoft got nothing to do with it. Right. So even your existing relationships with Microsoft mean nothing here. You must know someone at Bethesda or be able to communicate with Bethesda. So that also adds a odd wrinkle, but somehow, the entitlement still stands, Please continue.
Yeah. And there was rumors about 2 other chaps as well that apparently didn't get one. And after a quick investigation, turns out they did. And it was just a load of rubbish. So Stevivore apparently didn't get one, but yet they've got a website that specifically states we've got a code and it'll be ready for release date. Okay, sweet. So Stevivore definitely got a code, so that's a lie. Then there was another dude who said he hadn't got a code, but apparently got it on the 18th. I've forgotten another big YouTuber. Forgotten the name of him, but said he hadn't got a code.
Are you talking about Dreamcast guy?
No, not him. He's never getting a code.
No, he actually did get a code, believe it or not.
Yeah,
he did. He did actually.
Keymailer code. Yeah, he didn't get the official review code way back 2 weeks ago.
Right.
No, that's there's been a few where people have said, you didn't get a code, but turns out they did, and they have. So it's only mainly just some of the bigger sites in the UK, which is the likes of the Guardian newspaper. Who gives a crap what the Guardian write? They're a big pompous Tory newspaper, so I really don't care what to say, to be honest. And then of course you've got Eurogamer, which unfortunately affiliated with ReadPop, and no one likes ReadPop. So It is what it is. But yeah, it just works differently in the UK and Europe as it does in the US, and just has been the case. Now, apparently, they're a little bit more close knit now, but as Asante pointed out, it's still Bethesda's choice on who they give codes to, and it's got nothing to do.
Absolutely.
Everyone's got this conspiracy theory about, well, why wouldn't you give them a review on Eurogamer? If they had an issue with the game, they wouldn't give it to the guys that do the technical analysis on the game, would they?
Yeah.
Like, if there's an issue with the game, specifically an issue technically with the game, Digital Foundry are the guys who got to find it out. Not the guy that's reviewing it that goes, yeah, well, I found this one bug where a guy fell off a cliff. Okay, that's not a technical issue. It's a bug.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's nothing fundamentally flawed with the game.
I tried to land on that star. It just wouldn't let me land on the star. What is
just
up
kept
with this
falling
useless
through
game?
it. Yeah.
Don't fall for the lie.
Yeah, it's just mad. It's absolutely mad. It's like, yeah, the conspiracy theories are well and truly out and about, and I think there'll be a lot of funny things tomorrow when the reviews drop and the conspiracy theories are put to rest. But it's they're all determined to see it fail for absolutely no reason. But I don't think, judging by what I've been hearing and whispers I'm hearing from the people who have been reviewing the game, it's going to be a big shock tomorrow when there's a lot of positive noise coming from it, and I've heard next to zero negative noise coming from that.
Yeah. One of the things that I've heard, and this is from several people, and it's been printed, put out in print, that this is the least buggiest Bethesda game in the company's history.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've heard that.
It is. It's again, it's you say shocking.
It's a weird thing to say. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like it is weird because their charm is bugs. It happens. But yeah, rest assured, we're all going to be incredibly impressed. Mag, I'm going to go to you last because I'm going to come back to you first on the last topic because I know you got to get on out of here. Sure. I want to go to you. I want to go to you first on this. What are your thoughts on the entitlement situation with a lot of the media? Because I mean, obviously, it's made the way of making the news, and it's what shocks me when someone has built their channel or their website's reputation on really raking Xbox over the coals. Like this is what their brand is. And I normally don't say other people, but I said his name, so it's, if I say it again, only if I say it 3 times will I die. Dreamcast guy got a code. Now his channel, as everyone knows, is built on Xbox hate. Anyone saw the video that he did about the Bethesda event that he was raked over the coals by the community? They were in an outrage. He lost thousands of subs. And all of a sudden, he takes the video down. That dude got a code, right? So and he was out there. He was out there. I didn't get a code for Bethesda. Like, really, dude? Like you just took a giant.
Real quick, Boom. One thing, everything you're saying here. One thing that I sincerely hope, because we saw, I forget her name. Callie is her name. I think she does all the.
California, yes. She's the Bethesda public relations manager. Yes.
She did put a message out there that made me have some hope for the future of all this. You go ahead and continue talking. Continue, like completely ruining your NDAs and talking smack and all this, because much like Twitter, when your trolls point themselves out, it makes it easier to block them next time.
Yes.
So please continue talking the smack, because it'll change the game next time, and maybe your boy will get a code instead.
But listen again. He went out of his way to do his animated thing like a Muppet that he does, right? Like there are many characters out there that act like Muppets. Now, not the Muppet that, of course, would come out of Wandering Dutch, because that's an insult. I'm actually meaning like Jim Henson's Muppets, right? And that's what he basically does on all of his shows. He's a giant Muppet, and he took a giant steaming dump on the Starfield showcase, and he's built his channel on hate. So when you hear this same dude out there. And of course, the Euro gamers, and of course, the Tweek towns. Well, you didn't get a code, but you built your brand dumping. What are you entitled? Yeah. Take it away, Hargeet.
Yeah. Well, outside of Dreamcast, he has a pretty big channel, right? It's a couple 100,000 subscribers.
Yes,
so
he has
I
a
guess,
very big channel.
Fair enough. And I actually don't understand his arc, since he's the Dreamcast guy, and I think the Dreamcast successor was supposed to be the Xbox.
Yes,
but,
it's most
you can't trust those Sega stands there, Hargeet. Okay. I hope Everborn's listening to this show, clutching those pearls, but.
Or John Wolf, right? He's the other one, right?
John Wolf's a big Sega fan, also. Yeah, he's in the chat.
But look, there's Eurogamer did have their little, watching party thing, and it wasn't a very, I guess, enthusiastic.
To be nice.
Yeah. They were piling on it, right? They did. There was a lot of little nuggets of bad things here and there that just kept saying about it. Fair enough. I don't know that matters. One thing that is interesting to me, though, is we live in a meta world, right? Metacritic is a 100-point scale, and this is a review site that has a 5-point scale. And Tears of the Kingdom, we can all agree, is one of the highest rated games. They gave it a 4, which is a pretty good score, but that gives it an 80 on Metacritic. Right. And the majority of them are like the 95s to 100s. Right. That's where it normally is. But these guys gave it a 4 out of 5, which is it's a good score. Right. But the reality is we live in a world with a 0 to 100 scale, and they have a 5-point scale, not even a 10-point scale where they go like 4.5 or so. 5-point scale. Now, is there some potential that they're like, if we just wait for these guys, let the normal folks who do like 10-point, 20-point, 100-point scale get their scores out? And if they give it a 4, which is a good, I'm not saying it's bad, but there's no translation of that, right? A 4 for Eurogamer might be, an 88, right? But that's not what happens. When it goes to meta, it's an 8. It's an 80, right? And if the majority of the reviewers have it at a 94 and they come in, that just drags it down. You might find that happens a lot with these things, and maybe there's some concerted effort to saying, well, if you're a 5-point scale, we'll wait so we can get like the initial review comes out to what we would like to see, and then you can drag it down with your 5-point scale. Right now, it's incumbent upon Eurogamer to actually look at that and say, maybe that isn't good enough. Maybe a 5-point scale and look, one of the friends of our community, Jeff Grubb, he does that too. He's a 5-point scale. I think. Does he do halves? I don't know if he does halves.
I don't think he does halves. No.
So if it's a 5-point scale, and that unfortunately translates very poorly when it comes to going to meta, right? And we whether you like it or not, we live in a meta world. That's just the way it is. Everybody's going to look at the Metacritic. That's even we've seen Sony does it, Xbox does it. They're all looking at what the meta is of the given game right when it releases, right? So it's incumbent upon these sites to say, okay, well, maybe we should change that. Now, as far as the entitlement, they're classic media, I guess, right? So they're expecting to be treated like media, which I'm finding more and more with the oncoming generations, that there's this idea that I'm here, therefore I'm entitled to everything that I'm supposed to get in this position. It's like, that's not the world, dude. You earn it every day. That's the way it is. Indeed. You have to earn it every day. That's the way it goes. You don't just get stuff. You have to earn it every day. So if you didn't earn it, therefore you didn't get it. That's just it, right? If you didn't get the code, that's on you. You didn't earn it. That's just the way it is. Or they could have missed, it's just like they just didn't have enough codes available. They had to work it out. And that's also a possibility. But it could just be one of those things where they're like, 5-point scale, huh? Yeah. Pro PlayStation site. Yeah. Well, we'll just skip you. Because look, you gave Tears of the Kingdom, which up to now has been, this is the game of the year when it launched. That's it. That's the game of the year, until Baldur's Gate came out of nowhere. And that seems to be potentially a game of the year. And now you have another potential contender with Starfield. And like, you gave Tears of the Kingdom a 4. I mean, seriously, you gave Tears of the Kingdom. They gave Pikmin a 5. I'm just saying, but Tears of the Kingdom got a 4. You're like, okay.
And oh, by the way, there's no known actual Xbox fans on your staff anywhere.
So, maybe this is all conspiracy bullshit, and it has, sorry for the language, but
Right,
it had nothing to do with it,
fine.
right? But
Mm.
I'm just saying, like, you got to think about like where you are, like do a little self retrospection and introspection to say, why did this happen? Perhaps it's time to look at why that might have happened,
Yes.
right? You got to go past the entitlement and just say, well, what they specifically gave you a code to go to Digital Foundry. That's got to say something, right? They gave you a code.
No soup for you.
That's what it says. No soup for you.
Right? Because they trust them more than you. Just put that out there. They trust them more than you. So, but look at that. Take a little reflection to see where you are and see why that might have happened. You keep seeing all these articles out there. There are other sites like Kotaku and others that keep putting out negative things against. It's like, okay, look, how far do you think you're going to go when you keep saying bad things? Now, eventually, Microsoft's going to give you the codes anyways, unlike Sony, who literally blocks people from codes.
They literally black label somebody.
Yeah, they
you don't
certainly
exist.
blacklist you, and you're not getting the code, right? We've seen that, and you have to go buy the game yourself. Survivor, remember that whole thing? Like they do this. That's fine, and I think there was a little bit of kerfuffle with that, but mostly people just let it go because they just accept that this is the way it is with Sony. Microsoft will eventually give you one. They'll give you one. And technically, they're giving you the game before it actually releases, which is September 6th, not August 31st or September 1st. You're getting it early, but just not that early, right? And, fine. It's a big game. I get it. You'll want it for a longer time to be able to do a useful review. That's cool. But there might be something to looking at your own review practices, how you might have rated games in the past. Having a 5-point scale, that's kind of bad. It just is. Like you have to think about where that's going to land for somebody like Microsoft.
I think in regards to that,
like,
I think moving forward, Hargeet, it should be a rule that if you're going to, and this Metacritic could do this, the way we run on 100-point scale, that is what Metacritic is. If your site doesn't do that, then your site will not be recognized on our site, because what it ultimately does is it does a disservice to all of the other 100-point scale reviewers that are following the rules.
Right.
So you're coming to us and you're putting your review on our site. What we're going to do is we are not going to put your review. No one's going to know that you reviewed this. You could put it on your own website and do your 5-point scale. If you want it here for a review, you will follow these rules. And that's what should happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They have to work out something with that, but I mean, 5 points just seems kind of tough in these days when you have the 100-point scale that everybody's looking at. You have to do something. Or, it's possible that they publish here's what a 4 out of 5 means as far as a 100-point scale, right? This is what you should rate that as. Okay, fine, do something there. But I mean, 4 out of 5 for something like Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, really? You rated that 4 out of 5? Okay, fair enough. But that's what they did, right? And that's going to drag down that Metascore. It is what it is, right? So equivalently, I would assume that Microsoft knows this. We know that they study the heck out of this, right? We know from all the things we've now seen as leaks or out of the documentation we've gotten from various court cases, right? Mm-hmm. They absolutely are studying this. They know what's happening. They do internal testing for Meta. They're doing that. They know what's going on, right? And which sites are going to give them the crap. That's just they know, right? And it could be that they're like, let's delay those ones, and maybe we get the good scores, and we can see a Meta that looks good and creates buzz for us. And then if it drags down because these other sites come in with their 4 out of 5s or 3.5 or 3s out of 5s, that might happen, right? Fine, we'll take that hit later, right? But at least initially it could be like a 91 or 92 or 95, something, right? And we get that 90 plus Meta, right? And that's cool. So again, we'll see where it goes. But I wouldn't be surprised that it actually was something that they kind of did. With this one, I kind of think they did, because they literally said, give this to Digital Foundry, but don't use it yourself. So they knew they were giving them a code, but not for you.
Listen, I think it's poetic, to be honest with you. You can touch the code, but you can't use the code. I think
Yep.
it's incredibly poetic.
So there's a second part to this that must like annoy them is that content creators, especially people who are just doing this for fun,
Yeah.
right? They're getting codes, right? And the media isn't. Too bad. I mean, look, people trust those folks more, and it gives more engagement. That's just really where it is, right? So, if people get a code because they're a large channel and a lot of people are watching them to see what's happening in this arena, well, you need to compete and do better yourself, right? So that's on you. And if you need to get those codes, you need to change your practices and be better. Again, you can fix that yourself. Just look at what you're doing. I was saying it in the afternoons thing when we're talking about IGN that Linus Tech Tips just had this little come to Jesus moment, right? That like somebody pointed out, hey, you guys have some issues, and then they finally said, okay, yep, you're right. Mea culpa. Let's take a breather and go figure this out, right?
Yep.
Stuff you need to do, right? And and what I say with IGN is like it's a repetitive pattern of constantly missing Xbox, doing things against Xbox. Like you have to at some point acknowledge something's up, right?
Yeah.
And try to do something to rectify that. If you want to have any credibility, you have to have that like messaging. It can't just be, oh, we did something in the background, shut up. No, you have to tell people, we got you. Something was wrong. We fixed it, right? This is what we're doing, right? And we'll get somewhere, right? So I don't know. The entitlement is funny to me, but I think it also comes from like they now have competition that isn't classic media, right? And they're looking at that and saying, well, who are these jamokes? Why do they get to do this, right?
We are journalists, damn it. Where are our codes?
Exactly. We're the entitled journalists.
How dare you not have my code?
And that's why I start. That's why I start with this. I start with this. The smallest violin.
Great.
Yeah, the violin sound to be awesome right now. But anyway, it is funny. But look, I can kind of understand it from their perspective. I get it. Do better, right? Really,
be better.
Do better.
Yeah, absolutely. Be better.
You can get there.
1,000%.
Do better. To your point, there's nobody on the Xbox side over there. Maybe it's time to change that, right? Maybe it's time to like just get one person at least that's kind of pro Xbox on your side.
Hey, right? Kind of funny fakes it pretty well. Try something. You can do it.
Right? So it just builds credibility when you say you've got somebody who's like the Xbox centric. They will be playing on Xbox primarily. They will give you the Xbox centric viewpoint. That you kind of need to have that, right? So if you're not going to do that, then you'll be kind of assumed to be on the other side. It's just the way it is, right? So, as fair as you can be, right? That not everybody's ACG. It's like that's true. He just gives you as it is, right? He's great, but not everybody is that, right? And if it shows, it is what it is, right? So,
yeah, that's
kind of where it is.
Mag, let's bring you into the conversation,
sure,
brother. It's going to be a two-pronged question. One is going to be, of course, the entitlement situation. Get your hot take on it. And again, obviously, you're going to give us, your personal feelings on some of the stuff that was said already. And then, of course, we're gonna then second that with the price increase. PlayStation Plus, which went up $40 starting next week. It's $160 for the year. That is just what you get. There are no additional bonuses. There are no day-and-day games. They went up $40. And I have all the pricing. The regular $60 one is now $80. The one that's in the middle went up $30, and now the maximum one went up $40 from $120 to $160. Let's get the entitlement, and then we'll talk about the PlayStation Plus.
Sure. Okay, here's the thing. There's not much more I can say about the Eurogamer thing, other than one thing I'm going to say is that if you have a PlayStation centric channel or a news outlet or whatever it is, you can't be surprised. I mean, and you're catering to that audience, and there's no problem with that. If that's what you're doing and that's where you make your money, go ahead. Pay your rent, pay your bills, pay whatever you do, your mortgage, all that kind of stuff. Do that kind of thing, but don't get shocked and don't complain when if someone else, like let's say from the Xbox side, if you're not getting any love from the Xbox side or not getting a code from the Xbox side, don't be surprised that doesn't happen, especially if don't have that representation there. Now, here's the other thing. There's a lot that doesn't make any sense here, and I'm going to present it all to you guys. of all the reasons why none of this makes any sense and why ACG actually makes the most sense, right? Because what he said was absolutely true. He says sometimes you get a code, sometimes you're not going to get a code. And the thing is, you could say, oh, well, they're PlayStation guys, or oh, they talk trash about Xbox, they won't get a code, and these guys, whatever. I'm going to explain to you and show you how many different reasons as to why that's not actually true. And I will start with, if you look at like for example, you got SkillUp, okay, who didn't get a code. He actually said it out there because a lot of people were asking him, his fans were asking him, like, hey, did you get a Starfield code? Did you get a Starfield? He's got 953,000 subscribers.
Almost 1 million subscribers.
Okay, yes, he's got almost 1 million subscribers, and he did not get a code. Now, someone went back and they said, oh, it's because he trash-talked Fallout 76 or some bull crap like that. Who didn't trash talk?
Everyone did.
Exactly, right? Who didn't trash talk Fallout 76? That's not a reason. And it doesn't make any sense. They're like, oh, because he jokingly, by the way, said that the next Bethesda game that's coming out, I'm going to give it a low score. He was joking. There's no way that anybody at Microsoft took that seriously and said, well, that's it. So it doesn't make any sense. But then you get a guy like Dreamcast guy who's got literally practically a quarter of the amount of subs that SkillUp has, but he did get a code, right? I understand it wasn't like a 2-week early code, but he still got one and SkillUp did not. And you're like, okay, so where's the logic there? No logic there. So it turns out, once again, like ACG said, there's no rhyme or reason to it, really. At the end of the day, if a guy with almost 1 million subs doesn't get it, but a guy with like I said, a quarter of him does get it, and he openly trash talks Xbox, it doesn't make any sense. The other one, I've heard other arguments saying, well, you know what, the PS guys are not going to get a code, this and that. Alana Pierce works for PlayStation and got a code. So there goes that narrative out the window. Clearly, PlayStation, some PlayStation, affiliates are obviously getting the code. I understand Alana Pierce covers all angles. She covers different stories. However, she works for Sony Santa Monica, for Christ's sake. That doesn't get any more Sony than that. And they gave her a code, right? So there goes that narrative out the window. Then you look at it just, none of it, at the end of the day, it doesn't seem to actually make any sense. That sorry, I was going to say one more thing about the SkillUp thing is that, a lot of people are like, well, he made those jokes and this and that, or he trashed the last Bethesda game, whatever. Way back in the day when Siskel and Ebert didn't like your movie, the movie studios didn't not give them the next movie to review. They still got to review the movie, right? So at the end, I think the only person that makes any sense to me so far is ACG's statement that it really is. It almost feels like a crapshoot. It almost feels like a lottery of sorts. It's like who did it, who didn't get it, and then you start splitting hairs. And we start overanalyzing who did it, who got it, and who didn't, and for what reasons. At the end, I just presented 4 cases where it does make sense and doesn't make any sense. For Bethesda, why would you lock out almost 1 million sub channel like SkillUp from that game? Maybe they just didn't remember. Maybe you can't say they didn't have enough codes. It's digital, so you could have. I would imagine an infinite amount, right? So. I don't know. It just kind of happens. So, and like ACG said, and someone responded and said, well, what about this and all the what about isms and everything else, right? You know what ACG responded with? And he said, look at my previous statement. Sometimes you get it. Sometimes you don't. Another thing I was going to bring up quickly, last thing I was going to say about this is Dutch was talking about it. If people are watching your channel for you and your thoughts and opinions, it does not have to be the second the game launches. Yes. It does not need to be 12:01 a.m. and all of a sudden your channel launches it. If they're watching you for you, then those are the fans that you're catering to. It doesn't matter when you do. And I'll give you a prime example. Angry Joe, whether you love him or hate him, the man has 3.75 million subscribers on YouTube. He doesn't release his reviews until almost a month after the game comes out. And why? Is because he's confident that his fans are watching him for his opinions and not that flash in the pan story of what the code is or what the review number is or the Metacritic or whatever. They're watching him for him. So now you're going to watch as an example. I could tell you right now that you won't see an Angry Joe review until the end of September to the beginning of October before he releases a review for Starfield, because he will play the game beginning to end. They will analyze it, review it, film a video, do whatever they got to do, because they are confident that people are watching them for them. So I think that that's another important thing to remember. If you have a YouTube channel and you're doing these reviews, remember to cater not to the flash in the pan story and the clickbait. Cater to the fans that are actually there to watch you for your quality content at the end of the day, right? So that's another thing that I wanted to bring up too, as a prime example as to someone who does not release a review at 12:01 right after a game releases, right?
Wow,
So,
dude, that was,
anyways.
I think brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think you're on to something. So, with all of that said, Mag,
Yeah.
before you get out of here,
Yes.
on the eve of Starfield, Sony does something that is a lot of people are scratching their heads. They raised the price of this new tiered system that's not. I think it's just a year old. And they did it on a sly, but they didn't add any inherent value to it. Now there's some people out there pointing at Xbox, but Xbox went up $1 and they went up $2. This is $40. This went from $120. Well, and please speak on that. And from your point of view, let's hear it.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, first of all, when I'm done my spiel, I just wanted to say thank you to all the listeners, to Boom, to this panel, and to everybody. This is not a goodbye. Gandalf said it. It's not goodbye. Okay? It's not goodbye. It's just I'll see you on the next time there's a show. The next time I can squeeze it in. But it is, as a regular person, it is a goodbye. So I just want to thank you, Boom, for giving me this avenue to be able to spout whatever the hell garbage takes I've been having for 3 years. But
and use this as a sleeping.
And using it as a place that I can nap for 2 hours, according to Randall Thor. Thanks, Rand.
We were arguing in the chat right now about the fact that whether you were sleeping or not. I was defending you. People didn't believe.
I'm looking straight ahead. What am I, a dog? I sleep with my eyes open? Anyway, I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I got a DM for Percolator 9000. He goes, "You look awake tonight." I'm like, "Shut up, just shut up." So anyhow, now let's get into the actual nonsense here. First and foremost, I am super pissed that Everborn is not here tonight, because I got to tell you, Everborn, his Charge Them More t-shirts are going to be flying off the shelves today. It's going to be more popular than the Trump mugshot. Okay, it's going to be the Trump mugshot t-shirt and the Charge Them More t-shirts are going to go head to head for sales right now, because my God, I cannot believe the complete tone deaf decision to do this on the eve of Xbox releasing one of the biggest games in their history. I don't care what anybody says. This could be the biggest game they've ever released. Halo
agree.
3, Boom, which you mentioned, might be the biggest event release for Xbox. Because I was there. I was lined up at midnight and outside of Best Buy and doing the whole 9 yards with all the fans. It was wild. But this might be, it's a different world now. It's a digital world now, right? So we're not going to see that kind of same thing. But however, on a different scale, I think this might be the biggest launch in Xbox history. So anyway, that being said, then all of a sudden they go, "Hey, I got a great idea. Let's jack up the prices for PlayStation Plus." And then the first game that you advertise you're going to release is the purple hair version of Saints Row. Are you insane? And then the other two games, which are rated a 4 and a 6 out of 10, by the way, like they were basically borderline failing grades on Metacritic. And those are the three games you advertise. And then the first thing they said was, in order to provide you, I can't even say it without laughing, in order to provide you with, to continue to provide you with quality titles. And the first three titles they announced were games that didn't even crack a 60 on Metacritic. Are you insane? I want to throw my headphones. I really want to throw my headphones. I couldn't believe it. Now, I want you to hear the prices, because this might actually jive a little bit more with people from Australia and stuff like that. So in the US, of course, the PlayStation Plus Essential, $79.99. It's gone to $79.99. In Canada, it went to $108. Yikes. It gets better. PlayStation Plus Extra, it went to $134.99 in the US. In Canada, it went up to $182. From $99. So it went up $90. $92. Wow. It gets even better, folks. If you think that was enough, here's the big one. PlayStation Plus Premium, $159.99 in the US, has now gone up almost $100 in Canada to $216 from
Jesus.
$119. Are you absolutely kidding me? I cannot believe that. If they're not releasing day and date, that's the big one. Is that you're not doing any of that. You're not releasing, at least in September, no quality title there. I mean, maybe I heard Saints Row was like actually okay, and I'll probably play
very
it.
okay. It's not worthy of a price increase. I can assure you. I bought the premium edition, and it was a waste of money.
Listen, they had marketing rights with Hogwarts this year, right? They had marketing rights with Resident Evil 4. Okay.
Yeah.
And those were big sellers for them. Those sales are now basically, they've exhausted their initial sales anyway. You know what? You want to launch an increase like that? You put Hogwarts Legacy in September, and you put Resident Evil 4 remake in October, right in time for Halloween.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's how you can somewhat justify an increase of that size. Because you're talking like at least for my country, you're talking anywhere from $5 to $8 a month extra. You best be giving things that you've been either first party, which has been kind of slim because most of their first party stuff is already in there, right? So now you got to look at that third party marketing stuff, and then you got to look at those games and start putting them in there. You know what I mean? And that's the only way. And then eventually next year you got to put in Final Fantasy 16, put it, that kind of stuff. Otherwise, what's the point of the increase? As it stands, you can see that people are upset about it, and they're saying, why even increase it if you've given us literally nothing for it? And that's the insanity of it. That's I'm at a loss for words for it. So now I am going to have to go back because I have resubscribed to Game Pass. Because remember, I told you I took a big long break from Game Pass because I'm like, listen, from February all the way till now, I didn't see anything that I found of value for me that I was interested in playing. If there's something like one thing here, one thing there, I'll get to it eventually when I resubscribe. I have now resubscribed for the fall. Okay. And because there's going to be a bunch of titles I want to play, at least 3 I can name off the top of my head, big titles. So that being the case, now I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to re-examine my PlayStation subscription not because I can't afford it. It's because I don't want to pay for something I'm not using. And it's not something that I'm going to get value out of. I don't care if you have millions of dollars at home or if you have thousands of dollars at home. You have to look at what you're paying for the amount of quality versus the dollar you're spending on it, especially this day and age with the way that prices have gone up and everything else and cost of living. It's not worth it in the end. So now I'm going to have to go back and re-examine that. And the thing is, if I'm doing that, there's a lot of people out there in way worse situations that are now going to look at that and go, yo, there's a lot of extra coin now. We're going to have to re-examine this because at the end of the day, this is a luxury item. All right. Video games, movies, TV shows, whatever the hell you're into, they're all luxury items at the end of the day. So it's something that needs to be examined. And I think it's a big mistake. And the one thing is, and this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with, and it's a sad truth, is that I could tell you with absolute certainty, Sony doesn't care. They are not going to backpedal on this. Remember like the Xbox Live thing? Where Xbox reversed that and said, nope, sorry, guys. We're just goofing. Right, Sony don't give a shit. Yeah. Sony's not going to change their mind. You're paying this, and they're going to shove it down your throat no matter what you complain about, how you complain about it, and they're not going to change it. So accept it or just walk away from it.
Yeah. Good stuff, Mag. Listen, great way to end your 3-year tenure at Primetime Gaming, brother. Thank you for it. Obviously, you have the keys to the front door whenever you got you got a free Wednesday and you want to join us, you just join. There's no invite necessary. Man. You're going to be in the DM, and I'm looking forward to this video tomorrow, brother.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, and a little embarrassing for me because you'll find out why. Gentlemen, have a great night. Love you guys.
We'll chat. Talk to you soon.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes, absolutely, bro. Take care. Dutch, let's bring you into the conversation. It's a little late where you are, brother. We want to get you out of here as well. Let's talk about the price increase, brother, because this is okay. Hold on a sec. Why isn't this working? Hello. Oh, for the love of Joe. All right. There we go. Okay, we're back. Let's talk about it. This is a pretty steep price. This isn't like a small increase. If you are someone that likes premium, which a lot of us do, you're spending an additional $40. this is a pretty bold move for Sony, and we know that I think Mag's right. They're not going to budge on this. This is what the new number is, and it's kind of like, well, you got to take it.
Yeah, it's a pretty steep. I don't get the timing of it either. I really don't get the timing of it. It's the service itself, the new revamped service, hasn't been out that long.
Right, it has
really
not.
hasn't. Like when was the newly revamped service? Was it only like January this year?
Yes, it officially started, I think, in January. That's when I re-upped, and I paid my $120 for the
when they
premium.
originally came out with the original pricing plan, and we're like talking half a year, and they've already increased it tenfold. Like
pretty ridiculous.
It's really weird. And it's not like they've got anything like, unless it is forward planning because they're about to start doing day and dates, but I doubt it. However, that's the only thing I can possibly think of, because outside of that, there is no justification as to why that is going up. Like, they're losing subscribers, so what do they do in order to gain them back? Increase the price. Like, so it's like really backwards. It's not how it works. Like, how do you get subscribers in? Okay, you reduce the price or put offers on, but they don't do that. They've decided to increase the price, and there's no real rhyme or reason for it. It's such a confusing move. And like the only other thing that they've got coming out this year is Spider-Man. And then they've got nothing next year.
Right.
And even then, you don't need PlayStation Plus in order to play Spider-Man. You just buy the game.
Yep.
So, what's improved in the service in order to justify such a steep increase? I don't get it. I don't understand the thought process behind this. There's nothing in the service that requires that. There's not what's being added recently that isn't like many months old or a year old that justifies such a steep increase.
Well, it's arrogant Sony. I really think that's the best way we can describe it. They moved ahead of the horse. They are the industry leader, right? They're the market leader. We know that. There's no doubt about it. And we obviously we know how they roll when it comes to reviews. If you don't give them a kind review or a positive review, you get blacklisted. That's a fact. And now we saw that they were one of the first ones to raise to $70 games. They increased the price of the console by $50, which was never done before. And yes, Microsoft in some areas did in fact do that as well, due to cost. And listen, I'm just saying that this is what Sony does. They raised the prices of their peripherals, and no one batted an eye. They went out and they said, okay, you can't buy digital cards anymore or digital games from like a GameStop. You got to buy them from us, right? So they've done a lot of what I think everyone would agree, anti-consumer moves. This is another one of them.
It just doesn't have anything backing it up. That's the only thing for me. Like, if there was something justifiable there, like there was going to be an increase in content, like at least Microsoft can say, okay, like from now up until the tail end of next year, we'll have released 4 AAA first-party games.
Yeah.
Sony don't have that in their service because they don't include first-party games day and date, but they've increased it tenfold.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense. At least there's a justification from Microsoft to say, listen, we've got this many games jumping in here. This is how much the cost of development is. We have to increase in order to cover the cost of development and make a profit. There's nothing in that service with PlayStation that justifies that. Not that level of increase, and not so soon after. It's the fact that they've only just announced
literally the same year. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes no sense. I don't get it. I don't get it. I hope they justify it at some point. But yeah, it confuses me.
Yeah, it's definitely bad timing. Hargy, let's get your hot take on this. And obviously we'll get Kays and we'll get everyone out of here. It looks like we're gonna potentially get out of here on time, which is awesome. I'll catch up on the super chats before we do get out of here. So folks, don't worry. If you drop the super chat, I will read it live on the air. Hargy, this is it's a head scratcher because it almost feels like like Sony does things. We know this. They do things to try and get in the way of Xbox. They're the masters of marketing. We all know this. This wasn't the move, man. This was not the move.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes live the day Starfield officially comes out on September 6th.
On September 6th, correct.
Just crazy. Now, look, I guess to be fair, if I took the $160, it would be less than the $200 and what is it, $205, $4, whatever it is, to get 12 months of Game Pass Ultimate. But Game Pass Ultimate is going to include all of Xbox Game Studios, all of ZeniMax, and pretty soon Activision and Blizzard.
Yeah.
All day and date, right? So I'm getting Call of Duty every freaking year as part of my service. What are they offering that's going to be close to that? If you paid, like the one that really gets me is the Essentials level, right? That's just gold. And Microsoft just made a move to change that too, but they kept the price the same. You want month to month, it's the same $10. You want annual, it's $60. They didn't change it. They left it alone, right? Because that's just base level to get to multiplayer, right? Now with PlayStation, it's worse because if you want cloud saves, you have to pay that $80.
Thank you. I was literally going to say that. Please, please reiterate that. People may not know that. Yes,
it's ridiculous. It would cost Sony something like $2 to $3 million a year to just give that to you for free. How much do they make? Billions in profit. They can't just give you that. No, they have to paywall that, and then I'm charging you an extra $20 a year, right? That's ludicrous. Seriously, especially when most of the games you end up playing are free to play. You don't even need the bloody subscription. The only reason I had it was because of the cloud saves, right? And
That's
I'm like,
why
well,
I
I can't. Like, I mean, I console switch. What do you want me to do? Like, how am I supposed to get my? So I had to pay that just to be able to get to a next console. Like, that's ridiculous. That is just so now you have to pay $80 to get that, right? That's stupid. But this is what they're doing. Now, I could even take the higher tiers, getting more. Maybe they'll put more games in. Fine, right? But it's a substantial jump. And I think it came out last June. I think that's when they actually went live with it. But so a year later, they're saying, okay, we're bumping up the prices substantially, not a couple of dollars. We're going up. And you now have to just accept that. Okay, fine, right? It would be nice if you added something. Microsoft just bump up the price, but they're on the brink of buying ABK. I'm getting those Activision Blizzard games in Game Pass, right? That gives me value that you just see. And you know they're going to keep expanding, right? We're going to get more studios, more publishers, right? What's Sony's answer? We're just charging you more, right? And we're doing it at a time when Microsoft is on the brink of releasing one of the biggest games they have, right? And all the buzz is on their side, and you're dousing your own flames even more by saying we're going to increase the price and give you nothing for it. It's an odd move at an odd time. Usually those kind of things wait till a Friday because it's bad news. They dumped this on us midweek. Okay, that's an interesting way to go. Fair enough. I don't get it, right? I don't like. You would think they would know. They usually are pretty good about this, but maybe this is just the Jim Ryan era. It's like, I just need more money and I don't care. I'm just going to put it out there.
I don't care.
Cool.
I hate to say this. I think you're onto something, man.
Right? I mean, like, because apparently PlayStation players will just take it, right? They'll just take it, right? I wonder how many, like, have you seen a pushback? Because when it happened with Xbox Live Gold, within minutes you saw.
I did a podcast immediately with Crispy Bomb. We were like, whoa,
right?
whoa, this is crazy.
This ain't cutting it, Microsoft. Nope. Right? And that afternoon, like 8 hours, not even 8 hours later, like we're reversing decision. Right? We're not doing that. Was there any pushback on this? No. Can anybody tell me why you should pay $80 instead of $60 for online? Can anybody explain that to me?
You're paying for greatness.
You're paying for greatness. That's right.
You literally
greatness.
I like it. That's really it. It's like an Apple tax, right? We expect you to pay because you bought an Apple product. You should just.
That's it. That's it.
It's like, really? There's no rhyme or reason. You just decide.
That logo doesn't carve itself, It takes a lot of energy carving that logo. You know what I'm saying?
That's great. I love it. The logo doesn't carve itself.
I don't. It's mind-boggling. But look, as I was saying previously, right? The enthusiasm gap is going to keep expanding because Microsoft keeps pushing out more cool stuff that people actually want in the gaming world and keep coming at you. They're going to be at show after show after show with here's some cool stuff, right? Here's some, great games coming your way, whatever, right? And Sony's absent. When they give you something, it's a price increase. Like what? Though to be fair, I've heard there's some price discounts for the console, even though they increased the price of the console, right? So whatever, that's something that's cool, right? But this just doesn't make any sense to me. I could even see the higher tiers, and they come out in a week or so saying, "Hey, we're adding blah 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 to it. We'll get 1 or 2 day-and-date releases every month." That's cool. That'd be great. But they didn't do that, right? There's nothing coming, right? And there's no indication of anything coming. With Microsoft, is obvious. They're this close to buying ABK. Like, you dude, come on, right? So fine, it's going to go up because they're buying ABK for $70 billion. Fine, I get it. But what are we getting here for $20 more? What are we getting here? I don't know. I don't know how many people will actually push back. How many will just take it, and how many will just quit,
when my thing
PS
expires, that's it. I'm just not
right. It's like, okay, I wish they would get rid of the cloud save paywall thing. That's just so backwards, but that's the way it is, right? Their cloud saves are behind a paywall. You have to deal with it. If they at least said, okay, we're bumping to 80 and then we're getting rid of that paywall, that'd be fine. But no, they're not going to do that either. But look, Call of Duty is their biggest juggernaut that requires that online play, the online PS Plus. If that becomes more synonymous with Xbox, I mean, you're just making it harder for people to stay on your subscription.
I agree.
Saying that you usually reduce the cost, you don't increase the cost, right?
Well, I don't know there's why something to be said, Hargy, when let's say next year happens. And for your $17 a month, Call of Duty, whatever, is in Game Pass, right?
Yep. And Sony, what if they add more stuff, right? Because look, they have World of Warcraft. If that becomes part and parcel of Game Pass, how much value you get? That thing alone is like what, $10, $15 a month? Just think of the amount of stuff and maybe they don't do that. Maybe they say, no, we got to have that separately. Fine, we'll see where it goes, right? But if you're adding all this stuff into it, and we know they're going to add at least some of that, you're getting more value. You just are. And people can see that value. Plus, you were mentioning, hey, they've got a whole bunch of games that they've listed that actually are coming out pretty soon, right? So you're starting with Starfield, and we got all that showcase that's coming, right? And it's over the next year or two. So it's not far away, right? So we have a bunch of games to come, and they always have third-party deals in this as well. Not to mention EA. That's just bundled in. You get EA, right? So
and Ubisoft Plus could be why that.
Yeah, and who knows if the UB thing happens, right? Maybe we get some stuff over there too. That'd be kind of nice. But they went up by a little bit, and it went up substantially. I don't know. And that bottom tier is the one that bugs me. At least the top tier is still cheaper than the Xbox equivalent. Granted, they don't have day and date, but that bottom tier at $80, like why? Just why? Why couldn't you just leave that alone? Why would you bump that up? But I think they're just looking at, hey, we're dwindling, and instead of doing the right thing and cutting the cost to get more customers, they're saying we'll just take more from the customers that stay on.
Gouge. Yeah.
And we'll see if it works. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It kind of worked with the $70 thing where lower number of sales, but higher revenue of those sales. Therefore, you're getting more money, right? But, maybe that works here. Maybe it doesn't work here. We'll see how it goes, right? I don't know. This is kind of baffling. I don't want to pile on it too much. It is weird, but we'll see where that ends up with the actual PlayStation user base. What are that, 40-something million subscribers, 45-something, right? And it keeps going down quarter and quarter. We'll see in a quarter or two, if it comes down to under 30, it's like, you did this to yourself, right? You don't need to be here. You could have kept your 50 million if you kept your prices better or made them lower. Added more features, added more capability or whatever, right? But hey, that's up to them. That's kind of where I am with it. It's odd to me. And to do it in the middle of a week, right as Starfield's coming out, and launch it the day that Starfield comes out. Okay, it's an interesting thing to do. Sure,
that's their I guess their answer to Starfield.
It's like the opposite of counter programming, right?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, at least Larian is doing them a massive favor by putting out Baldur's Gate 3 on that date.
Yeah.
But they're certainly not doing themselves any favor here. But well, whatever, fine.
Yeah, well, we will soon see. Okay, let's get your final take on this. We'll get everyone out of here.
No, I agree, but by and large, I agree with everybody. Everybody, what Hargeet's been saying. It's absolutely hilarious that today's the day that they choose to pick that news right on the cusp of the biggest release of their competitor. It's like I said, the opposite of counter programming, right? It's like, hey, people, please go play Starfield. That's literally what they're doing right now. This is counter programming. Like, you want them to come to you, not go the opposite way. But okay, I don't know. I just think it's absolutely weird. I did say to you that they are the market leaders for a reason. They're not foolish. They're greedy, right? You can call them greedy. You can't call them foolish, because foolish people would not have gotten where they are now. So, like, I would like to believe they have more bullets in the chamber. They're just kind of keeping close to the vest. But that part also makes no sense to me, because why would you want to keep it to the vest and give with the bad news or not without the good news added, right? That's the king of what they do. They are king of the, hey, we canceled this game, but look over here, we got Stella Yams or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got something else for you to keep your attention. These guys just went, nope, we're charging you more. Have a good day. Like, it is very weird. I was hoping that possibly because they raised the price that significantly, that you see something like Day and Date show up. If it would show up, now would be the time to say so. Because even though, well, then again, what am I talking about? I was about to say, even though the pitchforks has come out, there are no pitchforks out. Nobody's on them streets warring about this. They're busy talking about gas clouds on Starfield. Even though their prices just increased substantially, no one's talking about that. They're talking about the other thing, right? I mean, you should expect at least some Day and Date games. They own Crunchyroll. Let that be part of the subscription tier. Like, do something to increase value in this product, rather than just saying, we have the political capital, we know we can gouge you, give us your money, which is literally seemingly what they are doing now. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I wake up tomorrow and they go, oh, by the way, let's put some more meat on the bones. Now we're going to have X amount of Day and Date titles, or we're going to add this into it. We'll see, right? But yeah, this is really, really optically a horrible look. Now, Hargeet, you are right in that even at this tier, it's more expensive. The Game Pass Ultimate is far more expensive in that way. But Game Pass Microsoft also does not stop you from going to buy the $20 code, the $20 discounted code that you can then stack for 3 years. I've done that, right?
That's right.
Lucky for me, and I could have not lucked out. Lucky for me, I stacked PlayStation codes before they told me it wasn't possible. You know how when this whole thing started, when the whole PlayStation Plus thing started, people found those codes and started stacking them, and then PlayStation came out and just took them all back. Remember, you heard that whole thing? Yeah. My stack was still there, so I am still booked for 2 years. Which I was expecting them to go, nah, sir, didn't you hear our policy? We're taking it back, but they didn't. I'm still booked for 2 years. We shall see what happens after that, because honestly, and I've seen a bunch of folks online saying it themselves, like, man, lucky I got in when I did, because if you didn't, there's no reason to get into it now. And you can pocket watch or not, you can say whatever you want. There is one key point that makes this thing super egregious, and Hargeet pointed it out. You're paying $80 for the right to save your game.
Ridiculous.
Even Nintendo has learned a better lesson and now decouples the saves from and they have a cloud save as well, but it's not $80. That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the streets get hot. We'll see if they talk about it. Probably not. We shall see. That's it for me.
No, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we had over 1,000 people here. You're still here. There's 840 people here. Please hit the like button before you get on out of here. If you found the channel for the first time, we're on the hunt. 14K. Would appreciate you considering subscribing to the channel. Let me read these last super chats, and then we'll do outros. Fantas Archer drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, lack of community engagement is one thing, but all of these choices Sony has been making, weird question, are they trying to sabotage their own brand? I don't know. It's very questionable moves for sure. Boris Red 77 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Starfield and Labor Day is a gamer. A gamer couldn't ask for more. Indeed. Yes, absolutely. People will be playing the hell out of Starfield. Dean Rivera drops an additional $5 super chat and says, knocked out as much as my college classwork today, so I can enjoy exploring the galaxy on Friday. LOL. Also, I'm safe here in Tampa from the hurricane. Yes, good. Anyone of our Florida brothers and sisters, please stay safe, because yeah, it's getting serious over there. Sin Vendetta, generous friend of the program, drops a $10 super chat and says, Starfield is the space game I have been dreaming of for my entire life. I was hyped even before the direct in June. My Metacritic prediction for Starfield will be 96. That's where I'm kind of hovering as well. We are literally a 1 day away. Thunderdome Gaming Society has become a channel member. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Nightwolf 3186, generous friend of the program, drops a $10 super chat and says, it only takes us realizing that if ZeniMax had never been acquired, there would be absolutely no such gripe like what we're seeing. Also, go try Everspace 2 if you want some space action while waiting. Yeah, okay, Sante said that.
Awesome game.
Abacab 72 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, it looks like our buddy King Thrash was mocked in the media today for talking about not being able to land on a gas planet in Starfield. Yeah, he got kind of roasted. That's what happens, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? That's what they say. Spartan 661 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, IGN shouldn't have gotten a code, shouldn't have got a code for misinformation, but not doing their due diligence, acknowledging games being on multiple consoles and the ones that they left out. Yeah, these mistakes they're now. I think it's purposeful. I think it's on purpose. I mean, that you can't make that many mistakes. Someone in editing has to look at these things. It's crazy to me. Jesse Garcia, welcome, Jesse. He drops very generous $2 super chat and says, I'm enjoying the channel. Starfield will be great, brother. Thank you so much for the kind words and of course the generosity. I'm glad you are enjoying the weekly content. Nightwolf 3186 drops an additional $5 super chat and says, feeling like Halo 3's launch. Yes. Does everyone remember the game Fuel that came out? Loved that. Can we get a similar Starfield release? It will sell. Yeah, I'll definitely buy it. I don't know if I'll drink it. I definitely put it up on my shelf for sure. David Lyons drops a very generous additional $5 super chat and says, did anyone see Xbox hired ex-Sony executive Mena Satakato? Yes, she has been. That's a big hire. That's a really, really big deal. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. At some point, we'll probably get into it a little bit next week because obviously the rest of the week is going to be Starfield. Spartan 661 drops two additional $2 super chat and says they raised the price for their trash PlayStation Portal. Yeah, I mean, yeah, possibly. He says drops another $2 super chat. The price increase for no reason except for loyalty. Yeah, I don't. We don't get it. Traybone 408 drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Sony, take it or take it. You're paying for greatness." I love it. It's good stuff. We also have two more super chats. Spartan 661 drops an additional $2 super chat and says, "Loyalty for a side you choose doesn't mean you win. Indeed." And Gamer by Choice drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, the problem is Sony doesn't believe there will be pushback with moves like this. If the market leader share was closer, this wouldn't happen. Great show. Yes, again, it's the arrogant Sony. Dutch, let's get you out of here, brother. I know it's super late where you are. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. I know you can't do it every week because obviously, work for you has been crazy. Dude, again, a real big thank you. The coverage that you did on your channel for Gamescom was legendary, brother. Of course, on the socials, you got a chance to hang out with the actress who's going to play Senua, which was awesome. By all means, sell your brand, brother. Talk about your channel. Where can people subscribe? And more importantly, follow you on social media.
Yeah, it was an absolute blast. And thanks for that again. we out of the midweek crew managed to get the first gameplay footage of the new Forza gameplay up on channels, as well as first talking about the Starfield trailer and everything that in between. So yeah, it was quite a bit come out of that. So it was good. It was a good week. And of course, meeting some awesome people, as you mentioned, meeting Melina Jurgens and Aaron Greenberg and all of the awesome team there at Xbox, which was awesome. But of course, the community comes first, and meeting all of my team in person for the first time outside of Irwin was great. And
That's
then,
awesome.
of course, meeting Jez Corden and John and a few others. And random, you know what's even stranger, Boom, and I don't know whether or not you guys will get used to it in due course, but when random people come up that have seen your content that you've never seen before, and they're just like, oh, hi Dutch, hi Boxburger, like, I really enjoy your work. I'll not disturb you.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, it happened to me at E3. Someone heard my voice, and I was embarrassed because, like, we're not stars, we're just people.
Yeah.
He's like, you're BoomStick from Double Gamma. Yeah, that's me. Oh my god, can I get a picture? And I'm like, absolutely, dude. Like, he knew me from my voice, which is crazy.
Yeah. It was really, really weird, but yeah, it was a case of this guy. I was like, "Yeah, fan of your work. I'll not disturb you because I know you're busy." I'm like, "No, talk away. It's fine. Like, I don't mind." But yeah, it's weird. But that was the first time of experiencing that. But again, everyone's been awesome. The entire event was awesome, and hopefully you chaps can get over for Gamescom next time because it's.
K Sante's definitely going. He's already said it.
Yes.
He's going. He's locked in.
I'm there.
He's locked in.
Mhm.
I'm
He's
gonna
coming to
see if
LA
I
though.
can
You
make
need
it
to
happen.
come to LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come to LA. You come to Gamescom. Deal.
We'll see.
That's a good trade. That's a good trade right there. Come on.
Equally expensive trade.
Yeah, true.
Well, listen, Dutch brother. Again, congratulations on the success. On the coverage was amazing. We thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. Can't wait to get your hot take on Starfield. We'll be talking in DMs after tomorrow. Harky Chani, brother, sell the brand of Game On Daily, which is going to have a review up, by the way, for Starfield. Talk about that.
Gaz
Let people
finished
know
it
where
up,
they can.
and he's
going
to be putting it out soon. So along with everything, I think like Colt's video for early access is up as far as it's published for 12 o'clock tomorrow.
Right. Well, it's gonna load up tomorrow.
We can take a look at it, and we are 22 hours and 48 minutes away. You can see the clock on my background here. From early access. So GameOnDaily.com, YouTube.com/GameOnDaily. Check that out. And then RDX, dealer's channel. And everybody enjoy, Starfield tomorrow. Hopefully everybody gets to play it. You have to pay for the early access, and apparently a lot of people are. I'm now seeing, by the way, that the 3 different variations in Amazon. You get the bump up, the standard edition, and the premium edition are all on the top selling list. Yes. And Spider-Man is only beating the premium edition. The other 2 are beating it in sales right now, which is crazy. It's just crazy that game that's in Game Pass is selling so well. That it's on Amazon's top seller list. That's nuts. And we'll see where that lands as far as Spider-Man versus that. But I'm just amazed that it's happening. The sales charts for Steam are showing the same thing. It's always been in the top.
2
I think
million
it's still
plus
in the top right now.
Brother, on Steam. Watch, you're gonna see it's gonna break records.
It's gonna be nuts. I can't imagine what this is gonna be like when we see the numbers. Tomorrow evening, right when people start playing this game, and everybody you see in your friend list is Starfield.
100 people playing.
It's going to be a lot of people playing this. Congrats to the BGS team for getting this done. And we finally get to play your game, and hopefully it'll land really well. I don't know what the scores are going to be because of all this shenaniganry we keep seeing, but I think it deserves probably in the mid 90s, but we'll probably see something a little lower based on what we see with the media, which kind of sucks. But hey, it is what it is, right? I still think it has a good chance for Game of the Year. But we'll play it and find out, right? We've heard a lot from our friends and hints, but now we'll finally get to talk about it once the reviews come out. So tomorrow's going to be a fun day, right? It's a fun day. We're going to have all the reviews come out, all the people that had been silent, right? We get to finally talk to them. What was your experience? What did you think about each area? What can you tell us for hints, right? And we'll get to see what's going on. It's a big day. Day for Xbox. One of those few moments, right? Just like we're saying, it's Halo 3, right? It's like that now, right? We're getting this, and you say there are no lines. People want to pick up that collector's edition. Yeah, there are lines for that.
There are lines. There are lines.
There are lines for that. So
Absolutely.
it is what it is. This is great stuff, right? So I'll love hearing what Forte has to say, because GameStop will have some actual, this is what it's been like. We keep hearing the rumors of PlayStations being traded in for Xbox to play Starfield. It's no joke. It's no joke. This is an interesting game.
This is a zeitgeist game.
A lot of people,
this is what
a
we've
lot
been
of people
waiting for.
are getting into it, right? So the hype is real. It's good. I hope it really lands well, pun intended. And and you don't have to worry about that gas giant landing thing because it doesn't work. But hey, that's okay.
You'll just go right through it and potentially die.
Exactly.
Good stuff, Hargeet, as always.
So, but yeah, so catch you guys next week, or maybe something in between if there's something.
We're gonna be talking. We're definitely gonna be talking. Kay Asante, sell your brand. You're having a big show on Saturday, and of course, it's going to be all about Starfield because you're gonna have some time. You're gonna have at least maybe like a day and a half, 2 days.
Hopefully a day and a half, if not two, because Friday I'm getting vision issues. The reason why I was late, I was finishing up some work things because I don't see myself working on Friday. We'll see what happens.
No one's working on Friday. It's good. It's a national holiday. It's Starfield. Sorry.
Absolutely. So no, I am indeed having a really big show. We're going to obviously talk all about Starfield. We're going to give our impressions. We're going to do all that whole thing. Myself, Everborn Saga, and Epic Treasure. For those who don't know, variety streamer, YouTuber, has burst on the scene. She likes to push the boundaries. So of course she's great for our show. It's going to be real fun. And she's even out there with her takes on some of this media stuff that's like really taking off by herself as well, like calling some of these ridiculous narratives on Starfield out. So it will be a very fun and interesting, and I suspect a spicy show. So come check us out. That will be Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It probably won't be 3 hours, and we'll probably be off cam because we'll be playing Starfield while we're talking. So you go ahead, just come on through, put Starfield on, and listen to us while we all talk about what the game we're playing. That's probably what's going to go down. And not to be outdone, on Monday nights, myself and John Wolf will continue the conversation, but maybe probably from a more PC side of the house.
Way. Yeah.
How does it run on this thing? How does it run on the Steam Deck? Because there have been rumors and speculation that there have been updates made specifically for the Steam Deck. We shall see if that comes to fruition, right? So there's a lot of conversation there to be talked about. And yeah, I see you there, Mr. Joanna Dark. We will talk about No Man's Sky. I know people love when I troll, but no, please come check us out. It'll be fun. We're trying to be, we're going to be a little PG-13 slander, we promise. But yes, Saturday mornings, it should be a great time. We're hoping you guys can join us. But please, before you get out of here, why don't you hit that like button for Mr. BoomStick, who's worked so hard. He has 2 shows today for you guys. Hit that like button. Make sure if you haven't subscribed that you do, and come back again, because chances are there'll be lots of crazy news. There's so much news that's going on. And oh, by the way, no one's heard about ABK in a while.
Yeah.
So
well, it's just good. We're just talking about games. That's what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out. We had over 1,000 people here. Please consider subscribing if you're new. Hit the like button on your way out the door. A big shout out to all of the incredible generosity that has come the way of super chats today, and a lot of new channel members. That is awesome. Here at Double Barrel Gaming, we take nothing for granted. We work super hard to give you 5-day-a-week content, and we certainly appreciate the generosity. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day, folks, will be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends.